The juices in the mix, it'll fix you up. I'm gonna ride the boogie train till the sun comes up. Ride the boogie train, ride the boogie train, ride the boogie train till the sun comes up. Meet me in the corner, no. 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 Boogie down, mix up. Boogie down, fix up.
Welcome back to the Big Train Baseball Network. My name is Phoebe Winters, joined as always by my partner Quentin Corpuel. We are so excited. It's going to be Game 2 of the LCS Finals. Big Train taking on the Southern Maryland Senators. What would be an away game, but is actually being played here tonight at Shirley Povich Field, as the Southern Maryland Senators had to give their field back to the Blue Crabs. They wanted it back. But Quentin, how are you doing this evening?
You know, the weather is holding up. My hunger has been vanquished by some Catalyst hot dogs, and we get to watch some championship baseball today. The Big Train on the verge of glory once again, a chance for title number 11 and 7 in their last 8 years.
So last night didn't get off to a great start. Do you think that's going to present challenges coming into tonight?
I don't think so. As an athlete, you'd like to have the memory of a goldfish, even in like singular plays, for example, or singular games. And like we saw, the Big Train, they turned it on late. They won 9-2. It's not like the Big Train have to bounce back from a major loss or anything. They still won the game. But for them, they would definitely like to get off to a quicker start. We have seen them do that so often, especially as of late in these playoff dominations. All of these games up to this point have really been dominations for the Big Train. Through the first 5.5 innings, I will say it did not look like the Big Train we had come to know over the home stretch of the regular season and for basically the entire playoffs. But just like they have so many times this season, they flipped the switch when it mattered most, and now they are just one win away from a championship.
Now the Southern Maryland Senators coming into tonight technically as the home team, so they will be batting second. Now, dropped the first game, but we saw them dominate in the playoffs up to this point. Do you think the Big Train win last night is going to disrupt the momentum that they've carried throughout the playoffs?
I don't think it will. Again, last night's in the past. The past is in the past, as a wise gal once said on a movie screen. And they've got a really good pitcher going for them tonight. It's going to be Jacob Whiteman, representing the Towson Tigers. Dominated the Big Train back in Waldorf the last time these two teams played, en route to an 8-3 Senators victory. Heading to the regular season with a sub-4 ERA. Hasn't pitched too much this summer, but when he has performed exceptionally well. The Senators really hoping he can repeat that kind of performance tonight and force a Game 3.
Now, speaking of starting pitchers and starting lineups, Big Train coming into tonight with a much different lineup than we've seen throughout the playoff run. Can you talk a little bit about the new names that are going to be in the lineup tonight and what you're expecting from them?
Yeah, so a lot of the bottom part of the lineup is new. There's actually going to be a new leadoff hitter tonight, but he's been a regular ever since he arrived here in Bethesda. It's going to be Justin Nadeau at second for the Big Train. That spot has been occupied by Jordan Crosland for most of the playoffs, but Justin Nadeau, after getting a couple of games off, will return to second. Again, transferring from Jacksonville University to the University of Florida. He has performed exceptionally since he got here to Bethesda, hoping they can do the same thing here today. And then at catcher, it's Cole Constable subbing in for Luke Vaughn, who will be playing designated hitter. So the newest Quinnipiac Bobcat will be behind the backstop, catching pitches from Joey Wimpelberg, who will get the start tonight for the Big Train. And out in left field, it's going to be Josh Skoronsky taking place of Jaden Bastion, who has been a little nicked up as of late, has missed the last couple of games. But Josh Skoronsky, the newest Winthrop Eagle, will be in left field tonight. So those are, I believe, all of the new additions off the top of my head. A handful of them throughout the lineup. And then, lastly, Keenan Bowman moving from designated hitter to shortstop in place of Landon Franklin. So a lot of moving and switching for Sal Colangelo's crew, but I believe he's confident that his men can get it done tonight and take home championship number 11.
Now, while they are new faces to the playoffs, they are faces that we've seen throughout the regular season. They've all performed fairly well, so I'm excited to see them get their chance to shine in the playoffs tonight. Big Train hoping to close out the finals tonight and chase after their 11th title. The action's going to kick off at 7 p.m. with the first pitch. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Big Train Baseball Network.
Wait for me. Keep watching you when you leave. Something new. Keep hoping you feel this too. Holding on and on and on and on. Hoping I can get to know you better. Living in sweet suburbia. Some fun is all we The juice is in the mix, it'll fix you up. I'm gonna ride the boogie train till the sun comes up. Ride the boogie train, ride the boogie train, ride the boogie train till the sun comes up. Meet me in the corner alone. 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 Boogie down.
Welcome back to the Big Train Baseball Network. Again, we're going to set off Game 2 of the LCS Finals very shortly. Southern Maryland Senators, technically the home team for tonight, so they're going to be defending first. Big Train going to be up to bat.
Phoebe, I don't know what you're talking about. We are in Waldorf, Maryland today.
Yeah, it looks very similar to Regency Furniture Stadium, actually. You know, you can see the little basketball hoop and the bumper boats in the back.
And the 25 advertisements beyond the hill in the outfield.
So on the bump for the Senators is going to be Jacob Whiteman, who, as Quentin alluded to during the pregame show, has given the Big Train a lot of trouble throughout the regular season. Batting first, going to be Justin Nato, who's also the second baseman for the Big Train tonight. Haven't seen him make an appearance in the starting lineup throughout the finals or the semifinals. First offering is outside for ball one.
And this will be Whiteman's third appearance against the Big Train. Has picked up a win and a loss.
As the 1-0 going to be nailed out into right center field. That's going to drop for a base hit. Nato going to charge towards second. The throw from Tribble, not in time. So Nato safely aboard second. Not a bad start. Now I feel like we've seen throughout Nato's very short time with the Big Train this season, when he has a good game, he has a great game. So it's great to see him start off very strong with a lead-off double. Big Train coming in hot, hoping to get some runs on the board early to avoid having to put up that late inning magic. Now up at the plate, the machine that is Andrew Williamson. He's going to show bunt on the first attempt. It's going to go foul. Count moves 0-1 on Williamson.
Williamson went 4 for 5 last night. A big part of that late inning onslaught from the Big Train.
The 0-1, outside for ball one.
Now, the last time that Whiteman faced the Big Train on July 1st in Waldorf, he gave up 8 hits but allowed just 3 earned. He's done that quite a few times this summer, including his last appearance.
The 1-1, swing and a miss for strike 2.
That was Southern Maryland's Game 1 victory in the LCS semifinals over the Aces. Allowed 5 hits in 5 innings pitched, but not a single earned run. Also in that July 1st contest against the Big Train, a season-high 8 strikeouts. Looking for his first one here.
The 1-2, that one's going to be fouled off. Williamson going to stay alive at the plate.
And similarly to last night, Williamson has kept up the hot hitting in the playoffs, batting .450.
And it's the 1-2 going to be fouled off into the backstop.
He's got 8 hits over his last 3 games.
He's been a regular within the starting lineup for the playoffs. Been a huge producer for the Big Train since his arrival. And it's the 1-2 going to be outside. Count goes even.
As we said last night, there's been a lot of lineup shuffling throughout the season. We've already talked about how different it is tonight. But the only aspect of it that has appeared to stay the same since June 10th when Williamson arrived was him playing center field and batting second.
He'll foul the 2-2 off.
And I said at the very beginning of the season, I thought he could easily have a similar kind of summer that Mike Talkman had for the Cubs in 2023. slashing and dashing in the field and bashing at the plate.
As the 2-2 going to be lined up the middle. It's a base hit. The diving Kai Queen unable to get on top of it. Nato will score the first run easily. Williamson aboard first. Nato, a tornado across the base path, speeding by to score the first run of Game 2 of the LCS Finals.
That one really quieting the home crowd here in Waldorf. But in all seriousness, Andrew Williamson, we are so used to see him make really high quality contact with the baseball. That one not so much, but located it just right. And there he goes.
He'll take off for a second. The throw from Purser Eber down to second. Not in time. Williamson slides on in. Count now 1-0 on the designated hitter, Luke Vaughn.
That one I actually think was gonna be in time, but Kai Queen over at second, unable to handle the throw from Braden Purser Eber. Taking Nate McHugh's place behind the backstop tonight.
And it's the 1-0 just outside for ball 2. So in similar fashion to the big train, putting their regular catcher in the designated hitter position. Calling on Purser Eber to take behind the plate tonight. The 2-0. That one in there for strike 1.
We've seen Williamson and Keenan Bowman over these past couple of games raining terror on the bases.
The 2-1 just outside for ball 3. So Vaughn now sitting in favor of the count. Has a runner in scoring position in Andrew Williamson. That one gonna ding Vaughn. He'll take his base at first. My goodness, he's been quite the ball magnet throughout these playoffs. Took 2 hit by pitches last night, has just picked up his first for this evening. As now stepping up to the plate, it's gonna be Emilio Gonzalez.
And naturally, the same game we were talking about him struggling throughout a lot of these playoffs. He delivers the biggest hit of the postseason for the Big Train, a base-clearing double in the bottom of the 7th, a part of a 5-run inning for Bethesda.
But as we mentioned last night, although he hasn't been getting on base a whole lot, he's had very productive at-bats throughout the playoffs, as first offering is popped high into shallow left field. And under it with the catch and out number 1, going to be Nathan Brewer. And again, your umpires for tonight. At home plate, it's going to be Andy Simon. At first base, it's Anthony Mayer. And at third base, it's going to be Carl Romalia. As now, Davin Whitaker going to step up to the plate.
He's recorded a hit in 5 of his last 6, went 1 for 5 last night. Looking to pounce here with 2 runners on base.
As Williamson going to get chased back to second.
We don't normally see base runners slide feet first on attempted pickoffs, but Andrew Williamson, unique in so many ways.
First offering to Whitaker, going to be in there for strike 1. Now I know we've talked throughout the regular season about how aggressive Whitaker is at the plate, but what I've really liked from his playoff performance and towards the end of the regular season is how aggressive he's gotten around the base path. He's taken a lot of risky moves, and they've paid off big time as the 0-1 going to be lined out into right center field, and that's going to drop between Groen and Tribble. Williamson rounding third. He's going to go home, as is Vaughn. Whitaker charging, sliding into third. My goodness, a triple from Davin Whitaker has now given the Big Train a 3-0 lead. doesn't get much better than that.
I was about to say, couldn't ask for a much better start than this. Davin Whitaker struggling again last night, failing to record a hit in 4 of his 5 at-bats, but gets into one there, splitting, growing and triple, as you said, and speeding around the bases. I wasn't sure if he was going to be able to make it to third, but these past few times I've questioned whether Whitaker can take the base. I think he can take. That's exactly where he's ended up.
Like I was saying, he's just got an incredible eye for opportunities, it seems. He's very risky, but he doesn't put himself in a lot of jams. I think he takes a risk when he knows he can make it. He's been very successful with his base running. Has just recorded a triple to push across 2 more runs. Big Train now leading 3-0 with Matthew Wesley on deck, as we'll see a conclusion to the mound visit over to Jacob Whiteman.
Davin Whitaker all smiles after that one, having the time of his life right now on third base. And that'll bring up, speaking of triples, Matthew Wesley, who hit a triple in his first at-bats the last time we were in Waldorf.
Had one heck of a night last night, had back-to-back doubles as the first offering going to be upstairs for ball 1.
That's also Whitaker's first triple of the season.
What a time to record your first triple in game 2 of the LCS finals. The 1-0. That one's fouled off out of play. So already we're seeing a much different start from the Big Train than last night. Putting up numbers early on, hoping for some great insurance to carry them through the game as the 1-1 just outside for ball 2.
Already giving themselves a pretty good cushion here.
The 2-1 going to be in the dirt for ball 3.
Definitely the opposite of last night. It was a stalemate for the Big Train until about the 5th inning. The Senators were able to finally get on the board, only for the Big Train to respond in a huge way.
As the 3-1 swung on and missed. Looks like it might have been fouled back into the catcher's glove. Count now full on Wesley.
And waiting on deck is Keenan Bowman, again taking Landon Franklin's place at short.
The 3-2. That one gonna get away from catcher Purser Eber, but Whitaker will hold up at third as Wesley walks out to first. Now, as you said, shortstop for tonight, Keenan Bowman stepping up to the plate. Throughout the playoffs, we've seen him take on the designated hitter role with Landon Franklin in short. Just another one of those changes to the lineup that we were talking about during the pregame show. Now, this is the position where we've seen Bowman throughout the regular season. Has been extremely strong in that shortstop position. As the first offering going to be popped high into center field. Ranging back is Logan Tribble at the warning track. He's going to jump for it and miss. And in comes Whitaker to score. Wesley rounding home as Bowman slides into third. Ladies and gentlemen, you've got an encore of the Bow Show.
How about these East Carolina Pirates? A couple of triples here in the top of the first, and they're going to chase Jacob Whiteman, lasting just 1 out. This is absolutely incredible.
So that'll be the end of the night for Jacob Whiteman. We'll cut it to a quick commercial break, but stay tuned. You're listening to the Big Train Baseball Network.
Hey baby, I love the way you groove. Hey baby, I love the way you move. Say hey baby, I love the way you boogie down. Hey baby, I love the way you move. Boogie down.
Welcome back to the Big Train Baseball Network, still in the top of the first. The East Carolina Pirates pillaging across the base path. A triple from Davin Whitaker brought the score 3-0. A triple from Keenan Bowman brought the score 5-0. Now making his first appearance in the playoff run is number 39, Josh Skoronsky.
Now in to pitch for the Senators, it's going to be Griffin Siebel. Started the summer at Xavier, now going to be playing at Quinnipiac.
The 1-0 to Skoronsky. That one's going to be fouled off over the third base grandstand for strike one.
Now it's been a little while since we've seen Josh Skoronsky in the lineup. Made a pinch hit appearance in the playing game against the Braves. Recorded a base hit in his only at bat.
The 1-1. That one going to be outside for ball two. As you said, been a while, but was very dominant towards the end of the regular season. Started to see him in the lineup a little bit more consistently.
As we see the Senators continuing to play shallow here.
The 2-1, way outside for ball three.
It's going to be Mikey Guy at third, Silas Boris at short, Kai Queen at second, and Ian Kennedy at first. And it's the same outfield as last night for the Senators. Nathan Brewer in left, Logan Tribble in center, and Carter Groen in right.
The 3-1, way outside for ball four. Skoronsky will take his base at first. And now, going to be the 9-hitter, also making his very first playoff appearance for the 2024 Big Train. It's going to be the catcher, Cole Constable. With only one out on the board and runners on the corners, Big Train has already taken a pretty hefty lead, looking to tack on a couple more to keep the good times rolling.
It's been 9 days since we've seen Constable, who went 2 for 2 in only against the Crop Dusters.
Is Skoronsky going to charge to second? The ball slipping out of Purser Eber's hand, unable to make the throw. So Skoronsky has now put 2 runners in scoring position, with him aboard second and Bowman at third. Count is 1-0 on Cole Constable. The 1-0 fouled off over the first base grandstand for strike one.
Constable struggled in the regular season, batted just .216. But similarly to Matt Westley, looking to follow the path he paved with a really solid night last night, going 3 for 5.
The 1-1, that one gonna doink him on the shoulder. He'll take his base at first. And now that has loaded the bases. Your Big Train has officially batted around, as Justin Nato will make his second appearance during the top of the first. Kick things off with a double, looking for some more success from the plate. Bases loaded, 1 out on the board.
Now Siebel's been a very frequent call to the bullpen for the Senators. This is going to be his 10th appearance of the summer. Just his second against the Big Train, only lasted 1 out back on June 27th. Allowed 4 hits and 3 earned. On the verge of a similar result if Nato can get into one here.
As the first offering to Nato's fouled off for strike one. The 0-1 to Nato, outside and up for ball one.
Nato recording a double in his first at-bat. A second one here would likely score 2.
The 1-1. That one gonna be lined directly to the glove of Ian Kennedy at first, but Bowman gonna score from third. Skoronsky now on third as Cole advances to second.
Great play by Kennedy to keep that one in the infield and record out number 2.
Beautiful backhanded catch from the first baseman Kennedy, as now Andrew Williamson steps up to the plate, had a base hit during his previous at-bat. First offering to Williamson, in there for strike 1. It was a long single from Williamson that actually scored Justin Nato after he charged around the base path. The 0-1, swing and a miss for strike 2.
It's Skoronsky on third, Constable on second.
The 0-2. Allen going to be lined up the middle. Scooping it up is shortstop Boris, who will flip it over to first to record the third and final out. But not before the big train. Score 6. A dominant opening performance. Senators hoping to fight back when we return. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Big Train Baseball Network.
Right now.
Welcome back to the Big Train Baseball Network, bottom of the first. Big Train have put up a dominant performance in the top of the first. 6 runs. Now looking to protect that lead from the field. On the bump, it's going to be Joey Wimpelberg. The top of the order for the Senators is going to be Logan Tribble, followed by Nathan Brewer and Carter Groen. First offering to Tribble. Outside for ball 1.
Wimpelberg had a sparkling outing in his only other postseason appearance. That was in the play-in game against the Braves. Allowed just 2 hits and an earned run in 6 full innings pitched. Was able to pick up the W.
As the 1-0 going to be fouled off for strike 1.
And in the field for the big train, it's Gonzalez at first, Nato at second, Bowman at short, Wesley at third, Skoronsky in left, Williamson in center, Whitaker in right, and Cole Constable looking to patrol the backstop like an elite British cop.
The 1-1 in there for strike 2. Quick shout out to Mr. and Mrs. Wimpelberg, who are in attendance tonight. Got a chance to speak with them before the game.
They've been in attendance. They have been here for, I believe, the entire postseason.
As the 1-2 is in there for strike 3. That's going to be out number 1 for the Senators. Wimpelberg looking to keep it rolling from the mound as number 7, Nathan Brewer, the left fielder, steps up to the plate. Yes, the Wimpelbergs have been up here for the entire playoff run so far. But we just want to thank them for their loyal support to the broadcast and for being so kind to Quentin and I as the first offering to Brewers outside for ball 1.
Now Brewers looking for a bounce-back game after going 0 for 5 last night with 4 strikeouts.
The 1-0 in there for strike 1.
He's been so consistent for the Senators all season long. Led the team in hits in the regular season with 40. One of the best hitters in the entire league.
As the 1-1 is fouled off out of play for strike 2.
Nathan Brewer's father, nicknamed Mudcat, actually played for Middle Tennessee State from 1991 to 1994. And he wasn't just any Blue Raider baseballer. He was one of the best to ever do it in Murfreesboro. He is a Blue Raider Hall of Famer. Spent 3 years in the Colorado Rocky system. Brewer also looking for a strong sophomore campaign after batting just 188 last season.
As the count moves full on Brewer. Again, the Senators looking to get a couple of runs on the board to respond to the onslaught the big train put up in the top of the first. The 3-2. Allen's fouled off.
Everybody clap your hands.
Just want to quickly shout out lovely intern Ian DeMaca for running the Twitter once again tonight. His recent post, not too bad of a start for the big train. Couple of hits or so. Gosh, he is so cool and nonchalant.
The 3-2 going to be outside for ball 4. So Brewer will take his base at first as number 23 Carter Groen steps up to the plate.
Already an improvement from last night for Brewer. That's his first time reaching base in the LCS finals.
Carter Groen.
Carter Groen, a huge bat within the Cal Ripken League, tied Andrew Williamson for the league lead in home runs with 10. First offering to Groen. It's going to be lined down the right field. It's going to drop foul over the Senators' bullpen.
Groen went 1 for 3 last night, reached base a second time on a walk. But I think the Senators might need him to do a little better than that if they want to reclamate this 6-run deficit. And that is by no means a shot at his performance last night or his performance this season. That is simply a product of the current circumstances facing the Senators.
Is the 0-1 going to be low and outside for ball 2? Sorry, ball 1. It's going to go 1-1 on Groen. Now with the Senators finding themselves in a 6-run deficit, hoping to get at least 1 or 2 in the bottom of the first, get the bats moving. Don't want to let their dreams of the LCS finals be dashed too early, despite the onslaught from the big train, as the 1-1 going to be popped high and out of play over the first base grandstand.
And this is a pretty good guy to hopefully catalyze some early offense. He's recorded a hit in 18 of his last 20 games. As you said, Phoebe, tied Andrew Williamson for the league lead in homers. If we include the postseason, both are still tied, as both Groen and Williamson have hit 1 apiece in the playoffs.
The 1-2, Brewer gonna head to second. He'll have to track back as Groen fouls the 1-2 off.
It's interesting, Wimpelberg has a very deep arsenal of pitches, has mixed it up in 2 strike counts. Last night we saw big train pitchers go for sliders low and away. Let's see what he comes back with here.
The 1-2, Brewer takes off again, but the 1-2 again is fouled off, so Brewer gonna have to head back over to first.
So Wimpelberg has continuously jammed Groen. Groen able to fight these pitches off. I'm curious to see if Wimpelberg will alter course or will keep trying it until it works, or it doesn't.
As he chases Brewer back over to first.
Riveting analysis, because those are the only 2 possible outcomes.
The 1-2, gonna be low for ball 2.
Wimpelberg staying inside like there's a snowstorm outside, which is ironic because he's from Florida, where that doesn't usually happen.
The 2-2, Allen gonna be grounded past Wesley through the hole. So that'll put Groen on first and Brewer on second.
So I think the threat of Nathan Brewer taking off for second pulled Bowman closer to the bag, and understandably so. Carter Groen taking advantage of the defensive realignment and shooting one through the hole for a base hit. A nice start here for the Senators.
It's exactly the kind of offense you want to see from the Senators. They have a lot to work up towards after the big train's dominant performance in the top of the first. But what you want to see is some calm and collected offensive movement to get themselves on the board and start to eat into that 6-run deficit. Because, I mean, we still have a lot of game left, and there's a lot riding on this. As the first offering to Kennedy, going to be grounded foul down the first base line.
Already 7:40 p.m. Eastern. We are not even out of the first full inning yet.
The 0-1. Check swing. Did he go around? He did, so that's going to be strike 2 on Kennedy. Again, it's 1 out on the board for the Senators, who have 2 runners on base.
Now, we've talked about so many times this season pertaining to the big train, how when they fell down early, it had to be consistently small dents. Cannot rely on 6 spots if you are the Senators. A great opportunity to chip in right here.
As the 0-2 going to be popped over to Keenan Bowman at short. He's going to bobble it. So he records out number 2, but unable to get either runner off base. So the Senators still have 2 on base. Now 2 outs on the board. As number 15, Nate McHugh, steps up to the plate again. McHugh going to be the designated hitter for tonight. We've seen him in the catcher role.
a junior at Creighton University, number 15, Nate McHugh.
Nick Hugh transferring from Boston College to Creighton over the summer. The Colorado native taking his talents not too far away from home in Omaha, Nebraska. So with him and Griffin Siebel, we've had one player transfer to the Big East and one player transfer from the Big East.
As the first offering to McHugh is going to break his bat, grounds it softly over to second. Nato charges in from second to pop it over to Gonzalez at first and record out number 3. So the Senators leave 2 stranded, still sitting behind by 6. Looking to stop the bleeding there when we return with the top of the second. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Big Train Baseball Network. Welcome back to the Big Train Baseball Network as we head into the top of the second inning. Big Train currently leading 6-0 after a dominant performance in the top of the first. Luke Vaughn up to the plate as a designated hitter, looking to tack on a couple more to keep the train rolling. Again, it's Griffin Siebel on the bump for the Senators. Came in to relieve Jacob Whiteman, as the first offering to Vaughn is going to be in there for strike 1.
Vaughn went 0 for 2 last night, but reached base 3 times, twice via a hit by pitch and once on a walk. Already been hit by a pitch tonight.
The 1-1 to Vaughn, going to be grounded over to Queen at second. He'll toss it over to Kennedy at first to record out number 1. Now stepping up, the cleanup hitter and first baseman, Emilio Gonzalez.
First baseman number 45, Emilio Gonzalez.
First offering to Gonzalez in there for strike 1.
I don't know why, but I just put together that Queen and Kennedy linked up there. May as well be 1961.
The 1-1 upstairs for ball 2.
Gonzalez, one of few Big Train batters in the first inning to not reach base, but I'm sure he's a-okay with the rest of his team's efforts in the top of the first, making the path to title number 11 a whole lot clearer.
The 3-1 outside for ball 4, so Gonzalez will take his base at first. Now stepping up to the plate, the big bad bat of Davin Whitaker. knocked in a triple during his first at-bat to bring the score 3-0 in favor of the Big Train. Hoping for some similar success at the plate. First offering, fouled off into the backstop for strike one.
Let out a primal roar after he slid into third and was hitting some dance moves.
And again, it's that aggressive base running. He's gotten very risky and ambitious throughout the end of the regular season and the playoffs, and it's really paid off.
His favorite player is Cody Bellinger. That's very apparent in the way he stands at the plate, but also the way he's produced at such a high level this season for the Big Train.
The 0-2 to Whitaker, low and outside for ball one.
Now, Phoebe, I meant to say this yesterday, but how fitting is it that the last team the Big Train have to go through to win a title is the team that shares the same name of the one that Walter Johnson played for, the team that Shirley Povich covered.
A bit of a full circle moment there as the 1-2 is swung on and missed for strike three and out number two. Definitely a full circle moment there. Again, this is only the Southern Maryland Senators' second year in existence within the Cal Ripken League.
And it's also interesting, Shirley Povich only covered one championship team. That was the 1924 Washington Senators. And a win tonight for the Big Train over the Southern Maryland Senators would be title number 11.
The 1-0. That one lined into right center field. It'll drop for a base hit. Gonzalez gonna charge towards third. Wesley makes it to second. No, Gonzalez will keep going. He's gonna run home to score run number 7. And the throw over to third baseman Mikey Guy in time to record out number 3 on the charging Wesley, but not before the Big Train strike on one more. Stay tuned as we head into the bottom of the second. Senators looking to claw their way out of this one. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Big Train Baseball Network.
Watching you when you leave. Something new. Keep hoping you feel this too. Holding on and on and on and on. Hoping I can get to know you better. Living in sweet suburbia.
Welcome back to the Big Train Baseball Network as we head into the bottom of the second inning. Big Train currently leading 7-0. It's still Joey Wimpelberg on the bump. At the plate going to be number 22, the third baseman, Mikey Guy. And we've got a very special guest in the booth with us today. It's going to be Trevor Orth. As the first offering to Guy, going to nail him in the back. Guy will take his base at first. Trevor, you're the newest addition to the Big Train bullpen. How are you feeling this evening? What are your thoughts on the game thus far?
Obviously, we're in a really good spot tonight. Got a hard-fought win last night, and tonight so far looking good. You know, knock on wood. It'd be awesome to go back-to-back wins tonight and back-to-back years winning the Ripken League championship.
Now, Trevor, this is our first time talking to you this season, and the first time talking to you since you joined the active roster. Now, we've seen a lot of players this summer join the team late, but I don't think I've seen anyone at any level join a team following the path that you did. I know you weren't supposed to pitch this summer, but just take us through the process of going from game operations to on the active roster and pitching in big-time moments like you have in this postseason.
Yeah, so last year I pitched for the Braves, who also play in this league. And after just a long college season, a long summer, I decided to take the summer off. Felt it was in the best interest. And I've known Sal for a while, so he got me a job up here, just worked all summer. And then a few weeks ago, or I guess 2 weeks ago now, he calls me one day and goes, "Hey, I need you to sign. I had some players left who were leave." And I was like, for sure, I'd be really happy to do that, you know, throw some games. I didn't think I was going to pitch as much as I have. So it's been really cool to come in and compete in, like, high-leverage situations. It's just been a fun experience, you know. I love talking to all the guys on the team, you know. Everyone's very talented, as you know. Everyone plays Division I, and a lot of SEC guys, so it's interesting to see what they do differently than me or some of the guys at the D3 level.
Now, kind of bouncing off of that, we know that this has been a very close-knit team from the very start. What has it been like integrating yourself into the bullpen and dugout culture?
Yeah, so I think they were kind of skeptical at first. You know, just coming in, being an intern, just coming in, they were kind of skeptical. And then after my first outing, even though we lost, they kind of all had my back, and they were kind of all, like, shell-shocked, I should say. They were kind of surprised about just, like, how well I did and how well I could throw. So it's been really good now. Now I feel like I'm brothers with everyone on the team. So
That's really awesome. And you mentioned you played D3. Can you tell the folks at home a little bit about your background with college baseball?
Yeah, so I play at Roanoke College down in Southwest Virginia. I'm going to be a junior there this year, and coming off a good year for me. I threw about 22 innings and had like a 2.7, 2.8 ERA, so good year, and I've been happy to throw well this summer and just want to keep it going.
Now, this isn't your first time within the Ripken League. You played last summer for
The Braves.
the Braves. Can you
Yep.
talk a little bit about your summer in 2023?
In 2023, I was kind of burnt out from a long college season, being my freshman season. I didn't really realize how much of a change high school to college was until I was there. And then I came home after a tough loss in the conference championship last year and just went straight into playing. I battled some health issues for a while. I got pretty sick and some virus that no one knew what it was. So I missed the first 3 weeks of the season. And then I didn't throw well at all that summer. Just kind of burnt out, being sick, same thing, but no excuses. You know, you got to compete, and I just didn't compete very well.
Is that what kind of contributed to your decision to take the summer off?
Yeah, for sure. I thought it'd be in my best interest to just throw at home with one of my friends and just lift as much as I can this summer. And obviously things have changed, as you guys know.
They seem to change very quickly, as you said. Actually, I want to talk a little bit more about your first outing with the Big Train. You were told that although you were on the roster, you weren't going to be playing at home games because you do work in the concession stand. What was that conversation like that day when you got the call to the bullpen?
Yeah, so we were playing the Giants at home, I remember. I snuck out to catch an inning of the game, and I was sitting behind the dugout, and Coach Joe looks back and asked me if I had my uniform. And I said, yeah, it's in the car, and he goes, go grab it, you're going in to pitch. So that was a pretty cool moment. Got to pitch in front of the home crowd for the first time. It's a really great environment. It's almost like a college environment or like a small minor league team, which is awesome. So I had a bunch of fun, for sure.
And then actually you have another connection within the Ripken League. Your father manages the field at South County. What has it been like playing with your father last season in 2023 and having him be able to come here and support you at Bethesda Big Train?
Yeah, you know, my dad does a good job on that field. He takes pride in it, but obviously he's one of my biggest supporters, and he's not going to miss any of my games. So he's kind of laid back for the Braves and kind of misses their games to come up here and watch me, and it's awesome. I appreciate him a lot.
The 1-1 to Queen. That one going to be grounded to Gonzalez at first. He'll flip it over to Wimpelberg to make the tag. That's going to record out number 2. Senators have runners advancing to second and third. Again, looking to scratch across a couple of runs to start to eat into that 7-run deficit.
Now, Trevor, you were talking a little bit earlier about you learning from the Division I pitchers amongst the Big Train pitching staff. What are some things you have learned, whether it's from somebody at Alabama or Kentucky or any of the other schools that are represented within the pitching staff?
Yeah, it's just a bunch of different things. For example, like at the D1 level, they have specialized weight programs, specialized throwing programs, post-throw programs, and not knocking D3. It's great baseball. Just saying, like, we don't have the funds for that, or sometimes not enough coaching staff, but our coaches are great. Our program is really solid, luckily, and we have a lot of coaches that know stuff and have D1 experience. So props to the Roanoke coaches for sure.
And you mentioned you've known manager Sal Colangelo for a long time. What has it been like having him coach you? Oh my God, a diving effort from Wesley.
Whoa.
He'll fire it over to Gonzalez at first to record out number 3 before the Senators can scratch across any runs. They leave 2 stranded, still trailing by 7. Trevor, I'm going to let you finish your thought there.
So yeah, Sal actually coached me. He's coached me before, actually. He used to coach a fall team that we used to have at South County High School, and all the high school kids would come back in the fall. He's a great guy, great coach, knows a lot about the game, and so just being able to play for his team up here has been a true honor, and I've loved every minute of it.
Well, thank you. We're going to cut it to a quick commercial break before we head into the bottom of this, into the top of the third. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Big Train Baseball Network. Welcome back to the Big Train Baseball Network as we head into the top of the third inning. Big Train still leading 7-0. It's Keenan Bowman at the plate. An excellent jump from Wesley over at third to then fired over to Gonzalez at first to record out number 3, as Bowman will show bunts but gonna get knocked on the dome. He'll take his base. He has been quite the ball magnet throughout this playoff run. I think he's now been hit by a pitch in every playoff game he's played.
And that's not the first time he's been hit in the head this season. I'm surprised he hasn't even shown any signs, as it looks like actually here he looks a little shaken up.
Bit of a scare there, but he looks to be all right. He might walk that off for a second.
As Dr. Holland's going to come check on Keenan Bowman.
An unfortunate place to get hit by the ball. Thankfully, he had his bucket on. But as I was saying, the inning-ending play from Matthew Wesley and Emilio Gonzalez. We still have pitcher Trevor Orth up in the booth with us. Now, Trevor, you mentioned this isn't your first time playing with Matthew Wesley. Both of you played for the Braves in 2023. Can you talk a little bit about what that summer with Wesley was like and how that friendship has carried into this summer?
Yeah, Matt's a tremendous player right off the bat. I played with him last year before he went into his first year of college. And over the year, I've just seen he's grown so much as a player and a person, improved on a lot of things. And he's just a great guy to be around, good energy, and great player. He's really helped us get to the spot where we are today.
He made a fantastic first impression, hitting a 3-run home run in the season opener against the Gaithersburg Giants, and has had a spectacular last 24 hours, went 3 for 5 last night. Recorded what will go down in the scorebook as a double, but was thrown out at third, but not before he brought in run number 7 for the Big Train. Now, Trevor, I would also like to ask, how did you find your way to Roanoke College? There are what feels like a million Division III colleges out in the United States.
As the 1-1 is popped high and caught by third baseman Guy to record out number 1 for the Big Train. Bowman still on first.
Obviously, you're a Virginia guy. How did you end up at Roanoke College?
Yeah, that's a great question. Out of high school, my sophomore year, I started talking to a little bit of D1 schools like VMI, for example, and then COVID happened and the world shut down, and I kind of fell through with the transfer portal and guys getting COVID years back. So I kind of fell into like the ODAC schools, and a bunch of the ODAC schools reached out to me first, and then Roanoke was actually the last school to reach out to me. And I went down there on campus, met the coaching staff, saw the campus, fell in love with the campus, saw the stadium we play in, saw the locker room. I just fell in love with it, knew that's where I wanted to go, and I think I committed not long after my visit. So I loved every minute of it. It was a great choice for sure.
What are you looking forward to about the spring season this year?
Yeah, so we actually just got a new head coach, was named today. So I'm very excited to watch him. Oh, that ball's
As
carrying.
the 1-1 is popped high into right field. It is caught by Groen. Bowman going to charge over to second, but he is safe after the throw from Groen over to shortstop Boris. Just a tad offline. Bowman now in scoring position with the Big Train's potential 8th run. 2 outs on the board.
I thought Cole Constable was going to have his Matt Thomas moment and hit his first home run in the playoffs, late in the playoffs. Obviously not the same kind of circumstances Matt Thomas was faced with, I believe, all the way back in the olden days of 2019 when he hit his first collegiate level home run right here in Shirley Povich Field.
But Trevor, as you were saying, new coaching staff.
Just head coach. It's funny because Coach Kaminsky, he was actually at Ferrum when he was recruiting me in high school, and I told them no at the time, and now it's come full circle. He was at Radford for the past couple years, and now he's head coach at Roanoke. So I'm looking forward to working with him a lot. Great guy, knows a lot about the game, and also just the team we have coming back. We got a really good chance to make something special happen, and we were so close this past year.
As the 1-0 is lined up the middle, Boris going to fire it over to first to record out number 3. So the Big Train held scoreless for the first time this evening, still leading 7-0. Trevor, thank you so much for joining us in the booth. I'll let you finish that thought there.
Yeah, I was just really excited. I mean, we were so close to winning the championship this past year. We lost to Lynchburg in the conference championship, and I think we got a good team, a lot of maturity coming back, and I think we could really do something special.
Well, thank you again for joining us in the booth. Congratulations on being called up to the Big Train, and good luck this spring.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Stay tuned as we head into the bottom of the 3rd. You're listening to the Big Train Baseball Network.
We're spinning with our eyes closed, holding on and on and on and on, hoping I can get to know you better, living in sweet suburbia. Some fun is all we want. 2 kids
Welcome back to the Big Train Baseball Network as we head into the bottom of the third inning. Big Train held scoreless for the first time this evening in the top of the third, looking to protect their 7-run lead in the bottom of the third. Senators still searching for their first run of the game. Up at the plate, going to be number 7, Nathan Brewer, the left fielder for the Senators. Still Wimpelberg up on the bump. First offering is outside for ball 1.
Brewer took a walk in his last at-bat. Looking to reach base again. Although all it takes for the Senators is going to be one good drive and they'll be tied.
As the 1-0 is skied into right center field. A little bit of a collision between Skoronsky and Williamson. Skoronsky gets the catch to record out number 1.
Now we've also got a defensive substitution for those who were watching last half inning. Keenan Bowman got hit in the head, appeared to be okay, but has been subbed out at short for Landon Franklin, who's gotten the call at the 6th spot the past few games.
As the first offering to Groen is low for ball 1. The 1-0. That one getting away from catcher Constable. That one's going to bring the score to 2-0 on Groen.
A beautiful night here at Shirley Povich Field. Was cloudy for most of the day, but the sky clearing up for a lovely sunset.
The 2-0's upstairs for ball 3. As we've said, Groen, a powerful hitter for the Senators, now sitting in favor of the count. Looking to make some noise across the base path for the Senators.
Will be taking his talents from New Rochelle, New York to Storrs, Connecticut.
As that one just missing for ball 4, Groen will take his base at first.
And it looks like we're going to have our first mound visit from Constable to Wimpelberg. Again, Wimpelberg going 6 full innings his last time out in that play-in game against the Braves. That a 16-4 Mercy Rule victory over Metro Soco. Looking to do the same here. Similarly to that one, a huge cushion to work with.
Now up at the plate, first baseman Ian Kennedy. First offering to Kennedy, swing and a miss for strike 1.
Kennedy's been struggling in these LCS finals. A lot of swings and misses on balls that appear to be outside of the zone.
The 0-1 just misses for ball 1.
Kennedy, a native of the Peach State, but playing his college ball for the Michigan Wolverines. Made the College World Series final not too long ago, falling to Vanderbilt back in 2019.
The 1-2. That one's fouled off into the backstop. Kennedy will stay alive on the 1-2 count. As Groen's going to get chased back to first. Again, it's 1 out on the board for the Senators. They've got 1 runner on first and Carter Groen, who was walked. And it's Ian Kennedy at the plate in a 1-2 count.
Kennedy, one of those power conference players that didn't play a whole lot last season, looking to play a lot this season, which he has.
As the 1-2 is swung on and missed for strike 3 and out number 2.
He led the Senators in batting average for a little bit during the middle of the season, but again has struggled over the past game in his first couple of at-bats now.
Designated hitter Nate McHugh up at the plate now on 2 outs with a runner at first. Senators still looking for their first run of the evening, as Groen's going to get chased back over to first.
McHugh recorded the final out of the inning in his last at-bat. Actually took a tumble after crossing first base. Didn't appear to be shaken up, but it's been that kind of start for the Senators so far.
As the first offering to McHugh going to be upstairs for ball 1.
McHugh will be at his 3rd school in just a few seasons. Actually started his college career at Iowa Western before transferring to Boston College.
The 1-0. That one's outside for ball 2.
I think that one actually might have hit him.
Looks like it got a piece of McHugh, so he'll take his base at first, pushing Groen over to second. That's the kind of break the Senators are looking for to create some movement across the base path. Again, we still have a lot of baseball game left to play, sitting in a 7-run deficit. Looking to fire up the offense as we're going to see a mound visit from pitching coach Craig Lopez and catcher Cole Constable over to Joey Wimpelberg.
Do we still have a Coach Lopez hand fan in here? Yes, we do.
We do.
Right to your left.
There you go.
Phoebe, look at me. Look at me. I'm Coach Lopez.
You look just like him.
I can't do it as 100% capacity because I think I would hurt my ears and your ears as well.
Could do a quick booth shot so the fans can see what we're talking about.
Good gugga mugga, man.
You know, I was actually wearing my Craig Lopez shirt earlier today.
Congratulations. I'm happy for you. So was Brandon Cassidy, we saw before the game.
That's right, he was wearing it to BP. I still have one in my car. I love those. But it looks like we're going to see a conclusion of the mound visit over to Wimpelberg. Up at the plate, number 22, the 3rd baseman, Mikey Guy, has 2 runners on base now with 2 outs on the board. First offering to Guy. That one's going to be grounded foul. Actually into the big train dugout. Bare hand caught by Jack Robinson.
Heck of a night for Roanoke College so far. Boy, I really had to dig deep into the depths of my esophagus for that Coach Lopez impression. Wow.
The 0-1 outside for ball 1.
Also, a lot more seats filled tonight than there were last night, as we see Mr. Wimpelberg traversing the concourse.
The 1-1 going to be just a little low for ball 2.
Mr. Wimpelberg, the pride of Long Island, New York.
And despite living in Florida, Mr. and Mrs. Wimpelberg have made quite a few trips up to Maryland to watch Joey play as the 2-1 lined out into center field. Under it with the catch and out number 3, the vacuum in center field, Andrew Williamson. So the Senators leave 2 stranded, still trailing by 7. Stay tuned as we head into the top of the 4th inning. You're listening to the Big Train Baseball Network.
Something new. Keep hoping you feel this too.
Welcome back to the Big Train Baseball Network. Headed into the top of the 4th inning. Kicking things off from the plate, gonna be Andrew Williamson. Made the catch out in center field for the 3rd and final out of the bottom of the 3rd. He's gonna line that one out into center field. It's caught by Tribble to record out number 1 on the Big Train.
And so that'll bring up another hot bat in Luke Vaughn. Hopefully the only thing that the baseball makes contact with for Vaughn in this at-bat is his bat.
Was hit by the pitch during his first at-bat this evening. First offering over to Vaughn is low and outside for ball 1.
Has now been hit 4 times during these playoffs.
The 1-0. That one's fouled off over the first base grandstand. Count moves even at 1. The 1-1 grounded directly to Siebel. He'll flip it over to Kennedy at first to record out number 2. Now stepping up to the plate, first baseman Emilio Gonzalez took a walk during his last at-bat, looking for his first hit of the evening.
Now, I'm going to miss a lot about being here at Shirley Povich Field, but one thing I am going to miss is hearing these walk-up songs on average at least once a day. But luckily, whenever I hear these songs again, it'll make me think of the players.
I think 4K will always transport me back over to Shirley Povich Field. As the 1-0 to Gonzalez, grounded over the head of Siebel, scooped up by Boris in short. He'll fire it over to Kennedy at first to record out number 3. So a quick half inning for the Big Train. Still leading 7-0. Looking to protect that when we return. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Big Train Baseball Network. Welcome back to the Big Train Baseball Network as we head into the bottom of the 4th inning. Big Train still leading 7-0. Folks, it's Mad Max time. Max Martzoff in to pitch. The first batter he will face is going to be number 8, Silas Boris. His first offering popped high into left field. Andre with the catch, and out number 1. It's Josh Skoronsky.
So yet another Fury Road begins tonight. Hopefully for the Big Train, it leads to a Ripken League title. This is Martzoff's 3rd appearance of the postseason.
In a bit of a deja vu moment out in shortstop, Keenan Bowman is back in at short. Was subbed out for Franklin during the last half inning. But he's back and ready to go as the first offering to Braden Purser. Evers in there for strike 1. The 0-1, swing and a miss for strike 2. The 0-2 upstairs for ball 1.
Purser Eberl still looking for his first hit of the night. A rising freshman at Middle Tennessee State.
As the 1-2 going to be swung on and missed for strike 3 and out number 2. That'll send up number 28, Kaidizi Queen.
The Senators really loaded up on players from programs who have been Mizzou killers in the past. Norfolk State, where Queen plays baseball, upending the number 2 seeded Missouri Tigers men's basketball team in the 2012 NCAA tournament, 86-84 in Omaha, Nebraska.
The 0-1 fouled off into the backstop for strike 2.
That Spartan squad had eventual pro Kyle O'Quinn. A bitter end to what was such a sweet season for the Missouri Tigers.
As the 0-2 grounded to Bowman at short, he'll fire it over to Gonzalez at first to record out number 3. So another quick half inning. Big Train still leading by 7. Stay tuned as we head into the top of the 5th inning. You're listening to the Big Train Baseball Network. Welcome back to the Big Train Baseball Network, top of the 5th. Kicking things off, going to be Davin Whitaker at the plate. First offering, going to be lined out into right center field. That'll drop for a base hit. The East Carolina Pirate once again popping on the first offering to create some noise across the base path.
I'm glad you didn't start any sort of story before that.
I think at this point in the season we've learned, wait to tell a story until after the first pitch to Whitaker.
Then you're probably good until at least a few pitches later.
Now stepping up to the plate, Matthew Wesley, first offering. Going to be in the dirt for ball 1. Wesley been having a heck of a night. Was walked during his first at-bat, and then his previous at-bat will be ruled a double, although he did charge for third and was ultimately tagged out, but not before the 7th run was scored by Gonzalez. The 1-0, outside for ball 2.
Could have at least given a countdown before you turned the lights on.
Sorry.
That was a ocular jump scare.
The 2-0 to Wesley. That one going to be lined up the middle. Boris is on top of it. He'll flip it over to Queen. So that'll record out number 1.
Not much has gone right tonight for the Senators, but Silas Boris has been phenomenal at shortstop. Now, the last time I said that, which was last night, he immediately made an error.
Hopefully it didn't jinx him too much this time around. But Whitaker tagged out at second. Wesley is at first. There's 1 out on the board. Keenan Bowman looking alive and well as he takes to the plate. During the top of the 4th, he was subbed out for for Landon Franklin at short. Sorry, that was in the bottom of the 3rd, but in the bottom of the 4th, made his return over to short. Count now 1-0 on the shortstop. The 1-0, outside for ball 2.
Again, the Big Train looking for their 7th title in 8 years. That has not been done very much in really any sport out of the major college and professional sports. It's only been done twice. The Celtics of Boston, not quite sure why I said it like that. The Boston Celtics in the late 50s and late 60s.
As the 2-0 is ripped into left field, that'll drop. Wesley charging to third, he'll slide in as Bowman takes second. So Bowman not shaken up at all after being hit by the pitch on the head. Has now recorded a triple and a double tonight. Big Train now has 2 runners in scoring position, 1 out on the board for Josh Skoronsky.
The Celtics winning 11 titles in 13 years from 1957 to 1969. The only other one amongst major sports teams, both college and professional, to accomplish that feat, the UCLA Bruins in men's basketball, winning 10 titles in 12 years from 1964 to 1975.
First offering to Skoronsky, low and outside for ball 1. Great job of Purser Eber to keep that one in front of him.
And there are actually more in other sports at a lot of levels than I had previously thought. For example, North Carolina women's soccer, a dynasty for over 2 decades.
The 1-0 to Skoronsky, swing and a miss for strike 1.
And speaking of Carolina, Josh Skoronsky will be playing in the other Carolina, South Carolina, for the Winthrop Eagles.
The 1-1. Lined out into right field. That'll drop for a base hit. Bowman and Wesley both come in to score, but the tag at home comes in time, so Bowman unable to record the 9th run. Wesley records run number 8 for the Big Train. Skoronsky is aboard first. A productive at-bat for the Polish Hammer.
And a fantastic throw from Carter Groen to gun Bowman down at the plate. We haven't seen too many Big Train players run into outs. We've already seen 2 tonight with Matt Westley running into an out at third on what could have been a triple.
2 outs on the board now. A runner at first. Cole Constable at the plate. First offering to Constable is in there for strike 1.
Had a loud out in his first at bat. A fly ball that sent Groen all the way back to just shy of the warning track. We have yet to see Constable go yard this summer, but this would be a pretty sweet time for him to hit a home run.
As the 0-1's going to be outside and high for ball 1.
Now the sun has officially set over Rockville, Maryland. We thought the sun had set on the Big Train dynasty for many parts of this season.
Skoronski's going to charge over to second, but he is safe after the throw to shortstop. Or sorry, that was second baseman Queen. Just a tad offline.
Get that guy to Paris. A beautiful swim move and a dive beforehand.
So the new Winthrop Eagle takes flight, steals second successfully. 2 outs on the board. Constable in a 2-1 count. The 2-1 popped up high, and that's going to drop foul. So Constable will circle back into the batter's box on a 2-2 count.
I think we need to get Skoronski on a very quick flight if he wants to make it to France. I think he'd give LeBron James a pretty good challenge for the flag bearer of the United States team.
Speaking of LeBron James, Skoronski actually played basketball and football along with baseball in high school.
I wasn't sure where
triple threat.
I wasn't sure where you were going to go with that. I was like, oh, he's good friends with LeBron James. That's pretty cool. Skoronski definitely has the size and athleticism to play basketball.
The 3-2 to Constable. Outside for ball 4. Constable will take his base at first. We're going to return to the top of the order. It's Justin Nadeau. Started off the evening with a double, which contributed to the 6-run onslaught in the top of the first.
It's funny we comment about Skoronski's elite size and elite athleticism. He'll be playing baseball out of college, whose best men's basketball player, arguably of all time, is around 5'8".
As Nadeau rips that one into the corner of the left field, Skoronski is around to score. Constable charging in. He'll score. Another double for Justin Nadeau. He is tearing up the scoreboard and the base path. The tornado from Florida University. Looks like we're going to have a pitching change for the Senators, so we're going to cut it to a quick commercial break. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Big Train Baseball Network.
Till the sun comes up, till the sun comes up, till the sun comes up. Ride the boogie train, ride the boogie train, ride the boogie train till the sun comes up. Hey baby, I love the way you move. Say hey, hey baby, I love the way you groove. Hey baby, I love the way you move. Say hey, hey baby, I love the way you boogie down. Hey baby, I love the way you move.
Welcome back to the Big Train Baseball Network. A double from Justin Nato scored Skoronsky and Cole Constable. 2 outs on the board. It's Andrew Williamson at the plate facing a new pitcher in number 20, Luke Trout. First offering to Williamson, grounded past Trout. The diving Boris couldn't get a great hand on it, and with that, Williamson safely aboard first, has put runners on the corners for the designated hitter, Luke Vaughn.
So Williamson represents the 12th run of the ball game. I find it hard to believe that we are talking about the mercy rule in the LCS final, but a gentle reminder that the mercy rule in the Ripken League still goes to effect in the playoffs. It is a lead of at least 12 runs after 7 innings.
As the first offering to Vaughn in there for strike 1. The 0-1. That one in there for strike 2.
Trout, a rising freshman at Brown. This will be his 10th appearance of the summer. Last appeared in the Senators' play-in game domination over the Crop Dusters.
Is the 0-2 going to bounce in the dirt? Williamson going to charge and slide into second. Again, interesting that he always goes feet first on the slide. You don't see that very often.
It's funny because Williamson does everything so fast and is so electric, but the way he slides into bases is so calm and tranquil.
The 1-2. Low for ball 2. Count now even on Vaughn.
I will say, if you are able to master the feet first slide, that is always a nice go-to. But if you're able to master the head first, that's, I feel, almost necessary at a high level of baseball. We saw Josh Skoronsky pull off a nice swim move to avoid a tag on his second steal of the game.
The 2-2. That one lined foul down the right field line. Vaughn will stay alive on the even count.
I was able to master neither the feet first or the head first slide during my baseball games. I would just kind of roll over or tumble. I can never really get it down. And it's not that I didn't want to get anything on my jersey dirty, I just didn't really know how to do it.
The 2-2 popped into left field. A diving Nathan Brewer makes the catch.
It looked like the ball fell out of his glove, but I believe that was after the catch had been made, so that will record out number 3.
So the Big Train leave 2 stranded, but not before they score 3. Big Train now leading 10-0 as we head into the bottom of the 5th inning. You're listening to the Big Train Baseball Network.
I'll be the girl next door. You be my summer crush. Yeah, I think you should come and pick me up. 'Cause nothing feels as good as summer love.
Welcome back to the Big Train Baseball Network. Bottom of the fifth, Big Train now leading by 10. Shortstop Keenan Bowman was removed during the bottom of the third for a quick medical check, but he is back and feeling great. Knocked in a double during the top of the fifth to contribute to the 3 runs scored. It's still Mad Max Martzoff up on the bump for the Big Train. His first offering to
It's gonna be Silas Boris.
the 2-0 popped high and out of play for strike one.
Just kidding. That's not Silas Boris. That is a pinch hitter.
It's going to be number 3, Rohan Putz, coming in for a pinch hitting appearance for the Senators.
The lone Missouri native in the Ripken League, hailing from Loch Lloyd, south of Kansas City, playing his college ball for Kansas State.
The 2-1 swung on and missed for strike 2.
Got a family of baseball players. Rohan's brother Carter played for Notre Dame for 5 seasons. Another brother, Jude, currently plays at Florida State.
As the 2-2 is in there for strike 3 and out number 1 on the Senators. Now stepping up to the plate, left fielder number 7, Nathan Brewer. First offering to Brewer in there for strike 1.
Now Martzoff has been put in the game in mainly high pressure situations, but this one far from it.
Big Train with a hefty 10-run lead after a 6 spot in the top of the first and a 3 spot in the top of the fifth, as Brewer skies that into center field, but under it without number 2, the vacuum, Andrew Williamson.
Now, I will say there is still a lot of game left, but whatever the result is, whether the Big Train win this game in 9 or at some point before that, the Southern Maryland Senators have absolutely nothing to hang their heads about. I think very few expected them to make it this far, entering the postseason 4 games under 500. But they were able to sweep the top-seeded Aces, as a lot of us, including myself, thought Alexandria would get back to the LCS final once again. But the Senators pulling off a 1-run victory in Game 1, then dominating in Waldorf 9-0.
The 1-1 to Groen, just missing for ball 2. I definitely agree with you there, Quentin. I think the Senators have had a very electric playoff run, a dominant performance in the play-in game. Sweeping the Aces actually shut them down in Game 2 of the semifinals 9-0. They definitely have nothing to be ashamed of. They've had an excellent season. Now, while this might not be the end they were looking for, should the Big Train win, they definitely should be proud of how far they've come, as the 2-2 popped high and out of play.
And I think there are going to be a lot of fantastic collegiate baseball players from this 2024 Senators team. I think the diamond shining the brightest is the man at bat right now, Carter Groen.
Is the 2-2 going to be swung on and missed for strike 3 and out number 3. So the Senators still held scoreless. Big Train leading by 10. Don't go anywhere. We're headed into the top of the 6th. You're listening to the Big Train Baseball Network.
I'm gonna ride the boogie train till the sun comes up. Ride the boogie train, ride the boogie train, ride the boogie train till the sun comes up. Meet me in the corner alone. 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 fix you up. I'm gonna ride that boogie train till the sun comes up. Ride that boogie train, ride that boogie train, ride that boogie train till the sun comes up. Till the sun comes up. Till the sun comes up. Ride that boogie train, ride that boogie train, ride that boogie train till the sun comes up. Hey baby.
Welcome back to the Big Train Baseball Network as we head in to the top of the 6th inning. And it's Luke Trout on the bump for the Senators. Big Train currently leading 10-0. They're going to kick things off with Emilio Gonzalez at the plate. Going to be 4, 5, 6 due up for the Big Train.
Now, I also wanted to specifically mention a few other Senators who I've been incredibly impressed with this summer, and guys I feel have a very bright future ahead of them. The two workhorses this summer for Southern Maryland, Matt Hoover and Mark Loubier. Hoover, a Western Michigan Bronco. Loubier, a Florida Atlantic Owl, just like the man at bat right now, Emilio Gonzalez. Loubier didn't pitch last season. Hoover got some good run for Western Michigan, but both have performed fantastically for the Senators this summer. And then at the dish, along with Carter Groen, Nathan Brewer has not had the LCS final. I think he maybe wanted to. Again, last night going 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts, but has looked like a far different player this summer than even last spring with Middle Tennessee State. So I expect big things from Nathan Brewer heading into 2025.
As Gonzalez gonna take ball 4, he'll walk on out to first, sending up the big bad bat of Davin Whitaker. Started his evening with a triple, had a base hit during his previous at-bat. Looking to keep the good times rolling from the plate. Has a runner at first, no outs on the board. First offering to Whitaker. High and outside. He's going to get away from Purser Eber with that. Gonzalez going to jump aboard second.
That's never a great feeling as a catcher. It's a maneuver you pull off so many times every single game. Just a simple throw and catch with your pitcher. And it's always frustrating when something simple like that goes awry and costs your team to whatever extent it does.
The 1-0 to Whitaker. In there for strike 1.
Whitaker looking for his 3rd hit of the night. Following the same path Andrew Williamson followed last night.
As the 1-1 gonna drop in right center field. Gonzalez is ranging to third. Sliding in at second is Whitaker as Gonzalez gonna keep it moving. He'll score run number 11.
Big time players step up in big games. Davin Whitaker been a big time player for the Big Train all summer. Now 3 for 4 with a couple of extra base hits.
So now not only have the ECU Pirates recorded a triple during their first at-bat, they've also both recorded a double in later at-bats. Now up at the plate, Matthew Wesley. First offering to Wesley, gonna bounce in the dirt for ball 1. Whitaker gonna charge to third. The throw over to third baseman Guy, not coming in time.
This is getting pretty ridiculous. I thought Whitaker might be dead in the water, but stays alive every single time.
Again, he's ambitious, but it pays off. He's got an excellent eye for opportunity.
Now, as we see a quick stoppage in play, I want to mention a few half innings ago, I pulled up a scene from SpongeBob on my computer, and Phoebe, you were understandably like, not sure which direction this is going. And my vision for it is the big train in most of these playoff games, other than those first 5 innings yesterday against the Senators. It reminded me of a scene where Patrick Starr walks into the Krusty Krab. Oh, boy.
The 2-0 lined into center field, but with the catch is Logan Tribble. He bobbles it. So Whitaker gonna score. A tumbling Wesley makes it to second, but he is out. Looks like the tag came in time. The throw from Tribble to shortstop. Boris, looks like we had a substitution in shortstop for the Senators. Looks to be number 1, P.J. Hughes. So the Big Train have now scored 12. As now the shortstop, Keenan Bowman, steps up to the plate.
Whoa. That one just a bit outside, sailing over the head of Bowman.
Thankfully, it didn't catch his head this time.
Bowman understandably a little frustrated, but Purser Aber and him exchanging some calm, level-headed, and friendly words.
Count is 1-0 on Bowman. There's 1 out on the board.
But as I was saying, Patrick Starr walks into the Krusty Krab, and he goes, "Good morning, Krusty Krab." Oh! And he gets eviscerated. He gets lit up. That is what the Big Train have done to the Giants, the Braves, and now the Senators in this postseason.
As the 1-0 popped high into right center field under it with the catch, and out number 3 going to be Carter. Sorry, out number 2 going to be Carter Groen. So now stepping up to the plate, it's going to be the left fielder, Josh Skoronsky. Had a very productive at-bat. During his previous at-bat, recorded a base hit. First offering, high and outside for ball 1.
Sent the ball all the way into the corner and left. It feels like everybody's had a piece of the pie so far tonight for the Big Train.
The 2-0 grounded to Kennedy at first. He'll tag for out number 3. Big Train have scored 12. Looking to protect that lead when we return with the bottom of the 6th. You're listening to the Big Train Baseball Network. Welcome back to the Big Train Baseball Network as we head into the bottom of the 6th inning. Big Train now leading 12-0. It's still Max Martzoff on the bump. At the plate, we're going to have a pinch hitter, number 13, C.J. Willis, as his first offering is popped high under it. The third baseman, Wesley, who will fire it over to Gonzalez. It'll be a little offline, so Willis going to charge to second. Gonzalez can't find it. So Willis safely aboard second. As number 15, Nate McHugh, going to step up to the plate again. Willis pinch hitting and playing first base in place of Ian Kennedy.
So a great start there for C.J. Willis. Really struggled throughout the regular season. Just 6 for 47. That was just his second at-bat of the postseason. Made just one in the Game 2 LCS semifinal victory over the Aces. Recorded a walk.
First offering to McHugh, popped high into right center field. And a diving Whitaker can't get a hand on it. So in comes the first run of the evening for the Senators. C.J. Willis coming around home as Nate McHugh makes it safely to second.
What can Nate McHugh do for you?
So the Senators hopping on board, scored their first run of the evening, still have a runner in scoring position. No outs on the board yet. Now up at the plate, number 22, the third baseman, Mikey Guy, first offering in there for strike one.
Guy batted just under 300 in the regular season. A couple home runs, 19 RBIs. Has recorded a hit in 5 of his last 6, looking for his first tonight.
The 1-1, that one lined through the hole, base hit. McHugh gonna hold up at third. There are now runners on the corners for number 1, Rohan Puts. Sorry, number 1, PJ Hughes coming in to pinch hit.
Hughes, a native of Manhattan, Kansas, playing his college ball at Richmond. Did not play for the Spiders last season. Going to be a redshirt freshman in 2025. Went just 3 of 41 in the regular season. Looking to provide a spark here off the bench.
As the first offering to Hughes is low and outside for ball 1.
Also made a couple of appearances in that Game 2 domination over the Senators. Went 0 for 2. Now it has been exactly a month and 2 days since PJ Hughes recorded a hit. Would be a great time to break the cold spell. Max Martzoff looking to get back on track here.
The net count now 2-0 on Hughes. No outs on the board for the Senators, who have runners on the corners. Have already scored 1 run. Looking to tack on a couple more. Have a lot of ground to cover, but would like a nice offensive showing as the 2-0 swung on and missed for strike 1. The 2-1. That one low for ball 3.
Waiting on deck is Purser Aber. Could potentially come up with the bases loaded and no outs if Martzoff's not able to find the strike zone here.
3-2 in there for strike 2. Count goes full on Hughes. 3-2, swung on and missed for strike 3 and out number 1.
That is a huge strikeout there. Now a double play would end the inning. Mercer Aber, however, looking to not only extend the inning, but also chip into this big deficit just a little bit more. Martzoff, in a way, has almost been the break glass in case of emergency out of the bullpen for the big train. But again, a situation here, a lot less pressure with a lot greater of a cushion.
The 1-0 to Mercer Aber, swung on and missed for strike 1.
But there are some athletes who play better when the pressure increases. Martzoff, definitely one of those. Has had his ups and downs at times, but only a couple of late game blemishes. His success is outweighing his failures.
As the 1-1 is popped high into center field, the diving Williamson unable to get a hand on it. So McHugh will score run number 2, and in comes run number 3 from Mikey Guy. The Senators have now started to chip away at that score deficit, still have a runner in scoring position with only 1 out on the board, as number 28, Kaidizi Queen, steps up to the plate.
These Middle Tennessee State Blue Raiders across multiple sports just will never go away. Always find a way to produce in big time moments.
First offering to Queen, gonna be fouled off for strike 1.
Queen batted .238 in the regular season, recording 5 RBIs.
As the 0-1 gonna be swung on and missed for strike 2.
Also made an at-bat in that Game 2 win. Also made 2 at-bats in the play-in game victory over the Crop Dusters.
The 0-2, outside for ball 1.
A Waldorf, Maryland native. Also a regular starter for Norfolk State last season.
It's the 1-2 grounded foul down the first base line.
Recorded 46 hits, a couple of homers, and 22 RBIs for the Spartans in 2024.
The 1-2, outside for ball 2.
And waiting on deck is Rohan Putz.
The 2-2, foul it off into the backstop.
I'm loving this offensive defense here from Queen. The Senators have showed so much fight this season. They've knocked off the big train twice in the regular season. Not going down without a fight here as we head into the home stretch of what could be the final game of the 2024 Ripken League season.
As the 2-2 gonna be in there for strike 3 and out number 2. Now steps up number 3, Rohan Putz to the plate. Still has a runner in scoring position at second.
Now batting number 3, Rohan Putz.
First offering to Putz, low for ball 1.
We've now had back-to-back-to-back Missouri killers in the lineup. We went from Middle Tennessee State to Norfolk State and now Kansas State. Although the Tigers knocked off the Wildcats 30-27 in football way back in September. Missouri winning on a walk-off, buzzer-beating 61-yard field goal from Harrison Mevis.
The 2-0. Fouling off for strike one.
And then, of course, after a Kansas State Wildcat comes another Middle Tennessee State Blue Raider. So the negative memories for the black and gold part of me definitely racing.
The 2-1. That one just missing for ball three.
I'm also interested to see how long Sal Colangelo sticks with Martzoff. Already up to 45 pitches. This could easily be his last inning of work.
As the 3-1 is fouled off out of play, that'll bring the count full on puts.
And we haven't seen him go too far into games. Is oftentimes a go-to closer with somewhere between 3 and 5 outs.
As a 3-2 popped high and out of play. Put's gonna extend this at bat. Again with 2 outs on the board and a runner still in scoring position at second, and Purser Eber would like to bring him home to cut even further into the score deficit. Have already cut it down to 9 as the 3-2 gonna be upstairs for ball 4.
You also have to consider what Max told us yesterday. He'll be playing more baseball this summer. Is headed up to the Cape along with Jonathan Stevens after the Ripken League season is over. Whether that is tonight or if a miracle occurs tomorrow, as he's going to get a talking to from Craig Lopez.
So the Senators starting to get to work on the offensive side. Have already put up a 3 spot, brought the score deficit down to 9. Looking for some more offensive explosions. Again, we still have a lot of baseball left to play, and the Senators definitely don't want to go quietly. Looks like we're going to see a conclusion of the mound visit over to Martzoff. Going to be Nathan Brewer up at the plate, 2 outs on the board, a runner on first and second.
It actually reminds me of a poem. A little callback to our time in Silver Spring, Tacoma, our conversation with Kaylee Tallman, where she refused to admit that she thought poetry was cool. The title of this one, Do Not Go Gentle Into That Good Night, by Dylan Thomas. The Senators, as you said, Phoebe, not wanting to go gentle into this good night.
The 0-1. Fouled off for strike 2.
The Senators trying to rage against the dying of the light.
The 0-2 to Brewer. Fouled off and out of play.
I've said so many times this season that pitch is so tough to hit as a lefty. It starts like it's almost going to hit you and then curves back into the zone. It's very hard to swing at a pitch that looks like it's going to hit you right in the backside.
The 0-2. Just missing for ball 1. The 1-2. That one grounded to Nato at second. He'll flip it over to Bowman to make the tag at second. That'll record out number 3. So the Senators leave 2 stranded, but not before scoring their first 3 runs of the game. Big Train now leading by 9. Don't go anywhere. We're headed into the top of the 7th. You're listening to the Big Train Baseball Network.
The juice is in the mix, it'll fix you up. I'm gonna ride the boogie train till the sun comes up. Ride the boogie train, ride the boogie train, ride the boogie train till the sun comes up. Meet me in the corner alone. 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 Boogie down, mix up. Boogie down, fix up. The juice is in the mix, it'll fix you up. I'm gonna ride that boogie train till the sun comes up. Ride that boogie train, ride that boogie train, ride that boogie train till the sun comes up. Till the sun comes up. Till the sun comes up. Ride that boogie train, ride that boogie train, ride that boogie train till the sun comes up. Hey baby, I love the way you move. Say hey baby, I love the way you groove. Hey baby, I love the way you move. Say hey baby, I love the way you boogie down. Hey baby, I love the way you move. Boogie down.
Train Baseball Network, top of the 7th. First offering to the leadoff hitter, Cole Constable, outside for ball 1. Again, number 20, Luke Trout on the bump for the Senators. Count now 2-0 on Constable. Now the big train, we're leading by 12, staring down a potential Mercy Rule victory. As the 2-0 is lined down to right field, it's going to drop for a base hit. Here comes the Constable. He'll take his base at first.
Do you hear the sirens? They're blaring oh so loud, at least in our collective heads, not literally here at Shirley Povich Field, but a nice piece of hitting there from Constable. Perhaps the big train can score a trio here, or perhaps even more, which would give the Senators one final chance to make up the deficit. And if they cannot, the big train will claim title number 11 in Mercy Rule fashion.
As I was saying, big train was up by 12 in the top of the 6th. Senators responded with 3 to potentially delay the Mercy Rule, as the 0-1 going to be grounded foul for strike 2.
Or in this case, filibustering the Mercy Rule.
That was a good one.
Thank you.
Again, for the Mercy Rule victory, Big Train would have to be leading by 12 after the game is gone 7 full innings. The 0-2, outside for ball 1.
Nato having a solid night up to this point, 2 for 4. Him along with Davin Whitaker and Keenan Bowman as well.
The 1-2, just missing for ball 2. Count now even on Nato.
And we say goodbye to the Catalyst hot dog cart for possibly the final time this season.
The 2-2 outside, gets away from catcher Purser Eber. And here comes the Constable again. He's going to steal second. Count is now full on Nato with a runner in scoring position in Cole Constable. The 3-2 in there for strike 3 and out number 1. Nato drops his bat in disbelief. Going to be out number 1 on the big train again. Still have a runner in scoring position at second as Andrew Williamson steps up to the plate. Gone 2 for 4 so far this evening.
One of the many fantastic walk-up songs on the big train. He steps up to the plate, listening to Quick by the great Caleb Gordon.
First offering to Williamson, swung on and missed for strike one.
One of the walk-up songs I'll remember the fondest, especially considering how well Williamson has been playing this summer and how much he has batted this summer.
The 0-1. That one popped high into shallow left field. Under it, the shortstop, P.J. Hughes, without number 2. Now stepping up, the designated hitter, Luke Vaughn, has yet to get a hit off tonight, but was hit by the pitch during his first at-bat to load the bases and contribute to that 6th spot in the top of the first. First offering to Vaughn, outside for ball 1.
Luke Vaughn, a native of Cincinnati, Ohio, representing the Alabama Crimson Tide.
The 1-0, outside for ball 2.
Looking to be a greater contributor for Alabama in 2025. One of 12 SEC teams to make the college baseball tournament in 2024.
Count now 3-0 on Vaughn. Hoping to take advantage of the hitter's count.
The SEC dominating per usual in 2024 on both the baseball and softball sides. All 14 SEC teams making the NCAA softball tournament.
3-0 going to be in there for strike 1. Trout fighting back.
And what makes it even crazier is that the two teams joining the SEC next season, Oklahoma and Texas, played for the national championship. So a ridiculously strong conference somehow gets even stronger next season.
Count now full on Vaughn. The 3-2 popped high into right field. Under it with the catch, and out number 3 going to be Carter Groen. So the Big Train leave one stranded at second, still leading by 9. Stay tuned as we head into the bottom of the 7th. You're listening to the Big Train Baseball Network. Welcome back to the Big Train Baseball Network. Bottom of the 7th. Mad Max still in to pitch for the Big Train, who are leading by 9. Senators got some offense moving during the bottom of the 6th, looking to continue that trend here. Leading things off going to be number 23, Carter Groen. First offering outside for ball 1.
So Martzoff still on the mound. Will likely cross the 60 pitch mark here in the bottom of the 7th.
As the 1-0 popped high. Chasing after it is Gonzalez and Constable. Constable unable to get a good hand on it. Bounces out of his glove. So Groen will return to the plate on the 1-1 count.
Those foul balls behind the plate are so difficult to catch. The ball rarely ever goes straight up and straight down. Oftentimes it's a knuckler on the way down. As you saw Constable there try to whip around at the last second. Just couldn't get a good glove on it.
The 1-1 swung on and missed for strike 2.
Heard a few oohs from the crowd. Growing a little bit out in front of that off speed from Martzoff.
As the 1-2 missing for ball 2, count now even on Groen.
Did you see the break on that pitch? That was on the verge of teleportation.
The 2-2 fouled off.
For a split second, I thought that was a sweeper. I'll have to ask Max if that was. I'm not sure we've seen any so far this season.
The 2-2 outside for ball 3. The full count to Groen. Popped high and out of play, so Groen gonna extend this at bat.
Again, so excited for Groen's baseball future at UConn and wherever else baseball takes him.
As the 3-2 missing for ball 4, Groen will take his base at first. Again, looking to keep the momentum going for the Senators, who put up a 3 spot in the bottom of the 6th. Have already brought the Big Train's lead down to 9. Looking to chip in even further. First offering in there for strike 1.
Groen making a deserved jump to the power conference level from Iona.
The 0-1 swung on and missed for strike 2.
Iona, a part of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference, gained a couple of Big Train players in Cole Constable and Chris Diaz. The former going to Quinnipiac, the latter going to Marist. Constable going from Maryland to Hamden, Connecticut. Diaz going from Tulane up to the Empire State.
As Willis gonna swing and miss on the 1-2. That's gonna record out number 1. Groen still aboard first as number 15, Nate McHugh, steps up to the plate. McHugh recorded a double during his previous at-bat, looking for some similar success at the plate. First offering, gonna be grounded down the left field line. Rounding to third, it's gonna be Groen, and into second, Nate McHugh has now put 2 runners in scoring position with back-to-back doubles. 1 out on the board.
And it looks like Martzoff is gonna stay in this game, coming up on 70 pitches.
Now stepping up to the plate, number 22, the third baseman, Mikey Guy, has 2 runners in scoring position with 1 out on the board. Would like to capitalize on this situation to cut into the deficit even further as the first offering is low for ball one.
Mikey Guy going to be a junior at Frostburg State, a native of Clements, Maryland, has 11 home runs and 68 RBIs. A rock solid 360 batting average for Frostburg State over his first couple of seasons.
As the 1-0 is popped high, under it with the catch, and out number 2, Keenan Bowman at short. You saw Martov charge off the mound to make the potential tag out at home should the runner choose to go. Runners did not advance. Groen still at third, McHugh at second. 2 outs on the board now for P.J. Hughes.
And adjacent Kansas State Wildcat growing up in Manhattan.
First offering to Hughes in there for strike one.
Looking for what would be a very needed hit here with 2 runners in scoring position for the Senators.
The 0-1. Just missing for ball one.
Now they're running out of time to chip away. Might need an explosion or 2 late.
The 1-1. Swung on and missed for strike 2.
Again, would be a great time for Hughes to break a cold spell. Was retired in his last at-bat. But Martov 1 strike away from leaving multiple runners in scoring position stranded.
The 1-2. Popped high. Under it. Nato with the catch and out number 3. So the big train leave 2 Senators stranded across the base path. Still leading by 9. Stay tuned as we head into the top of the 8th inning. You're listening to the Big Train Baseball Network.
Wait for me. Keep watching you when you leave. Something new. Keep hoping you feel this too. Holding on and on and on and on. Hoping I can get to know you better. Living in sweet suburbia. Some fun is all we want. 2 kids come alive in a night rush. I'll be the girl next door. You be my summer crush. Yeah, I think you should come and pick me up. 'Cause nothing feels as good as summer love.
Welcome back to the Big Train Baseball Network. We've got a new pitcher on the bump for the Senators. Going to be number 37, Austin Ferreira, up at the plate kicking things off. Going to be first baseman, number 45, Emilio Gonzalez. Again, Big Train currently leading by 9. We're held scoreless in the top of the 7th. First offering to Gonzalez, just missing for ball 1.
1 out, gave up 5 hits and 5 earned.
The 1-1. That one grounded to second baseman Queen, who will fire it to Willis at first to record out number 1. So Gonzalez is retired early as Davin Whitaker steps up to the plate. Been having one heck of a night. Recorded a triple during his first at-bat. Has also had a base hit and a double. Looking for some more explosive play from the plate. First offering to Whitaker, fouled off for strike 1. The 0-1. That one's fouled off for strike 2.
Davin Whitaker, one of several Big Train players who figures to be an important piece of a Division I college baseball team. Didn't play last season for East Carolina, but has had such a good summer and figures to be an important contributor for the Pirates going forward.
The 0-2. Low and outside for ball 1.
Again, East Carolina getting the last national seed in the college baseball tournament last season, but were upset by Cinderella Evansville.
1-2. Did he check swing? Did he go around? He did. So that'll be strike 3 and out number 2 on the Big Train. Now coming up to bat, number 20, Matthew Wesley, has recorded 2, would have been doubles, was tagged out on both attempts. 2 outs on the board now. First offering to Wesley, fouled off into the backstop for strike 1.
Wesley really completing the bookends on what has been, I would say, a down summer, likely comparatively to his expectations. Again, had such a great season opener and has had such a great past couple of games.
It's the 0-1 going to be outside for ball 1.
I've heard so many people say it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. Matthew Wesley proving that both can actually be true.
The 1-1 low for ball 2. The 2-1, fouled off for strike 2.
We've still yet to have a baseball come really anywhere close to us here in the booth. I've stayed ready the entire season, though, so if an opportunity pops up, I will try my hardest to take advantage of it.
2-2, high for ball 3. Count now full on Wesley.
Although we do have a couple of cameras playing the role of bodyguard.
The 3-2 in there for strike 3 and out number 3. So the Big Train held scoreless for the second consecutive inning. Still leading by 9, looking to protect that when we return with the bottom of the 8th. You're listening to the Big Train Baseball Network.
fix you up. I'm gonna ride the boogie train till the sun comes up. Ride the boogie train, ride the boogie train, ride the boogie train till the sun comes up. Meet me in the corner, no. 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 Boogie down, fix up. Boogie down, fix up. The juice is in the mix, it'll fix you up. I'm gonna ride that boogie train till the sun comes up. Ride that boogie train, ride that boogie train, ride that boogie train till the sun comes up. Till the sun comes up. Till the sun comes up. Ride that boogie train, ride that boogie train, ride that boogie train till the sun comes up. Hey baby, I love the way you move. Said hey baby, I love the way you groove. Hey baby, I love the way you move. Said hey baby, I love the way you boogie down. Hey baby, I love the way you move. Boogie down.
Welcome back to the Big Train Baseball Network. Bottom of the 8th, you've got a new pitcher on the bump for the Big Train. 2023 Cal Ripken League Pitcher of the Year, Brandon Cassidy, was a part of the championship team in 2023, looking to pick up his second ring. First offering to Purser Eber, fouled off for strike one.
Cassidy looking to bounce back from his last outing on July 23rd against the Giants. Allowed 2 hits and 2 earned in 2 innings pitched, but also struck out 4. So ups and downs there. Looking to take the Big Train home here.
The 0-1, low and outside for ball one.
Also the newest George Mason Patriot. Transferring from Christopher Newport. So going across the Potomac from Virginia to Maryland.
The 1-1, swung on and missed for strike two.
Cassidy, one of the most epic transfer announcements posts I've ever seen in my life.
Gotta say, it is definitely one of my favorite things I've ever seen.
It is literally just a transparent picture of the old George Mason logo, so not even the updated one.
The 1-2, fouled off. I love it. Just a clip art photo.
That's what I would take to put on like a Google slideshow. If I needed a transparent image of the old George Mason logo, that's exactly where I'd turn.
The 1-2, fouled off towards the Senators' dugout. The 1-2, popped high and out of play. Purser Eber doing well to extend this at bat. Recorded a double during his last at bat, his first hit of the evening. The 1-2, outside for ball two.
Cassidy hasn't quite had the summer he had in 2023 with the Big Train. Hasn't pitched too much either. This just his 7th appearance of the summer. Last summer he pitched 28 innings, entering tonight just 11 in 2024.
The 2-2, fouled off into the backstop.
Now it is very understandable as he pitched a lot for the Christopher Newport captains last spring. To be exact, went a full 69 innings. A sparkling record of 7-3. A rock-solid 3.78 ERA and 105 strikeouts. A native of Manassas, Virginia, an alumni of Colgan High School.
As the 2-2 is swung on and missed. That's going to record out number 1 on the Senators. That's going to send up number 28, Kaidizi Queen, to the plate. Has gone 0 for 3 so far this evening. First offering to Queen, low and outside for ball 1.
A little Virginia on Virginia here.
The 1-0 popped high and out of play for strike 1.
Cassidy growing up in Virginia. Now will be playing his college ball, actually still in Virginia. Don't know why I thought George Mason was in Maryland. It is very much in Fairfax.
The 1-1 to Queen. In there for strike 2.
Might have been thinking of the other George school named after a person, George Washington. That one in the District of Columbia. So basically, I was double wrong.
The 1-2. Fouled off. So Queen will stay alive on the 1-2 count. The 1-2. That one's fouled off.
Quinn's been doing a fantastic job of staying alive on 2 strike counts tonight. Doesn't have a hit yet, but has really ramped up the pitch counts of these big train pitchers.
The 1-2. Outside for ball 2.
I think Cassidy thought he had that one. Started walking off the mound in celebratory fashion. Always a satisfying walk when you know you've done your job. You get to take a little victory half lap.
The 2-2 going to be grounded to the diving Gonzalez at first, who will flip it over to Cassidy. He makes the tag for out number 2.
Spectacular play by both Gonzalez and Cassidy. Gonzalez able to make a diving stop. Cassidy having to adjust to a throw that was a little bit behind him. Not only able to make the catch, but tag first just in the nick of time.
So now stepping up, number 3, Rohan puts the center fielder. He was walked during his previous at-bat. Cassidy looking to shut the door here.
The big train now just 4 outs away. I have to say, the magnitude of the potential finality, it's a little nerve-wracking, but also very exciting. The magic of summer ball running out soon.
The 0-1. In there for strike 2. The 0-2. That one's fouled off out of play.
The seat's still pretty full here at Shirley Povich Field. Everyone in attendance. 1 strike and then 3 outs away from witnessing a little bit of Ripken League history.
The 0-2. Looks like it was fouled off. Swung on and missed. So Putt's going to stay alive on the 0-2 count. The 0-2 fouled off into the backstop.
A lot of filibustering going on here. The Senators not going down without a fight. We're able to at least get on the board in the bottom of the 6th. But that represented just a small handful of highlights for them tonight.
As the 0-2 is swung on and missed. It's going to be strike 3 and out number 3. Big Train hold 'em scoreless yet again, still leading by 9 as we head into the top of the 9th. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Big Train Baseball Network. Welcome back to the Big Train Baseball Network. Top of the 9th. Gonna kick things off with 7, 8, 9 due up for the Big Train. New pitcher on the bump for the Senators, number 39, Alex Angelitis.
Gonna be his 3rd appearance of the postseason. Pitch just 1 out last night. Looking to keep this game at 12-3 and will hopefully not give the Senators an even steeper mountain to climb.
As the first offering to Bowman swung on and missed for strike 1. Now, folks, as the Big Train is staring down a potential Game 2 finals victory, which would clinch the 11th title, this could be the last time you see your 2024 Big Train up to bat. Count now 1-1 on Bowman.
And due up, funnily enough, are 3 guys that have experienced ups and downs all summer, but have really turned it on here in LCS final Game 2. That's been very emblematic of the Big Train this season. A lot of unprecedented ups and downs, but playing their best when it has mattered the most.
As the 1-2 lined into right field. The throw from Groen over to Willis at first, not coming in time. So Bowman is aboard first as the Polish hammer, Josh Skoronski, steps up to the plate.
And now for some, I think a few people might have thought that Skoronski would have had a bigger summer than he has. He was so good for the Utica Blue Sox last summer.
First offering is popped high. Under it with the catch and out number 1. Going to be the shortstop, P.J. Hughes. So that'll be out number 1 for the Big Train, who still have a runner on first. Now stepping up to the plate, the catcher, Cole Constable, recorded a base hit during his previous at-bat, unfortunately, was left stranded at second.
But I honestly think Skowronski's more reserve role this summer has been more of a product of how good the guys in front of him have been. Jaden Bastian, Davin Whitaker, and Chris Diaz all having all-star seasons in left and right field respectively. And then in center has been the supernova that has been Andrew Williamson.
I will say what I've liked from Skowronski is that he is a very consistent and powerful hitter. You know, even when he doesn't have necessarily a great game, he still gets a lot of good contact on the ball. And he's been very good within the outfield. You saw him in right field most of the season, playing left field tonight.
And he gave you arguably one of your best calls of the season when he hit a walk-off sacrifice fly to knock off the Aces in extra innings 9-8.
So he's definitely been a very big producer for the Big Train. Count now 2-2 on Constable. I think everyone within the starting lineup tonight, and that has been playing throughout the regular season, should be very proud of what they've achieved with the Big Train this summer, even if they're not getting their shining moment in the potential final game.
And even if they haven't had the summer maybe they expected to, hopefully they use that as motivation heading into the 2025 spring season, wherever they're at. Cole Constable looking to maybe experience a role increase with Quinnipiac. Didn't play for Maryland last season.
The 2-2. That one popped high into left center field. And it is caught by Brewer in left field. So that's going to be out number 2 for the Big Train. Bowman still at first as Justin Nato steps up to the plate.
Boy, these outs from Constable tonight have been very loud. Now a couple of deep fly balls into both right and left field. Thankfully for him, was able to get one down for a base hit earlier in the game. So he hasn't been held completely out of the stat sheet.
First offering to Nato in there for strike 1.
And while many of these players have gone through peaks and valleys, Justin Nato, it's felt like he stayed towards the top since he got here.
Again, was one of the last additions to the Big Train lineup.
Received very high praise from former teammates Nick DeLisi and Jaden Bastian, talking to them upon Nato's arrival.
The 1-1 just missing for ball 2.
Jacksonville figuring to be a contender in the Atlantic Sun once again in 2025.
The 2-1. Looks like it almost got a piece of Nato. Count now 3-1.
The Dolphins finishing 5th in the conference last season. An overall record of 27-31. An ASUN record of 18-12.
The 3-1. Missing for ball 4. So Bowman gonna push on to second. Nato will take his base at first. As Andrew Williamson gonna step up to the plate. Again, has been a powerhouse for the Big Train and throughout the Cal Ripken League. Got oh so close to the Triple Crown. Led the league in home runs and batting average. First offering to Williamson is outside for ball 1. Williamson looking for a loud finish to his 2024 season with the Big Train. The 1-0. Popped high and out of play for strike 1.
He's been involved in late game mercy rule defeats before. Had a game-ending 3-run shot in the playing game against the Braves, channeling his uncle, Sean Rodriguez, a 15-year MLB vet from 2008 to 2020, had 4 walk-off homers in his career. Rodriguez playing for the Angels, Rays, Pirates, Braves, Phillies, and Marlins. Williamson looking to maybe make one final splash here.
The 1-2 is popped high. Gonna land out of play, so Williamson will stay alive at the plate.
And here's a guy I would be shocked if professional baseball isn't in his future. Central Florida also a very formidable group of 5 team.
The 1-2 gonna miss for ball 2. The count now even on Williamson.
Williamson and the Golden Knights looking to build off of a solid 2024 campaign where they captured the number 3 seed in the Tallahassee Regional. Florida State eventually coming out of that regional.
The 2-2 grounded to second baseman Queen. He'll flip it over to Willis at first to record out number 3. So the Big Train leave 2 stranded, but they still lead by 9, looking for their last chance at the championship. It's the Senators coming up to bat in the bottom of the 9th. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Big Train Baseball Network. Welcome back to Shirley Povich Field. Potentially the last time of the 2024 season. Big Train just 3 outs away from their 11th championship title. Brandon Cassidy on the bump. Across from him, Nathan Brewer at the plate. The first offering to Brewer fouled off for strike 1.
You can see it, you can smell it, you can taste it, you can feel it here at Shirley Povich Field. As the inning progresses and the outs go from 0-1, 1-2, more people will arise. The energy will heighten. So many people here have been here all season, all the way back in early June.
The 1-1 grounded past the diving Bowman at short. Looks like there's been another substitution at shortstop. Landon Franklin at short in place of Keenan Bowman. Nathan Brewer aboard first.
And it looks like we're going to have a pinch hitter here in Mike Sweeney for the Senators. Got the start last night for Southern Maryland. Looking to help catalyze what would be a miracle comeback in the bottom of the 9th.
First offering to Sweeney low and outside for ball 1.
His stance a little similar to A.J. Martin on the Gaithersburg Giants. Holds the bat at about a 70, 80-degree angle.
As the 1-0 swung on and missed for strike one.
And it's so interesting to see across so many levels of baseball how even with a guy like Davin Whitaker, who holds the bat up so high, who holds his elbow up near his head, and guys like Martin and Sweeney, who hold the bat a lot closer to their shoulder, they're all still able to get the bat around so quickly.
The 1-2 popped high into right center field. And it's going to drop between Williamson and Whitaker. Brewer charging to third. Sweeney going to hold up at second. So no outs on the board for the Senators, who now have 2 runners in scoring position. Now stepping up to the plate, number 13, C.J. Willis. Again, Willis has already recorded a double this evening. Looking to turn on the Jets from the plate.
Again, just 6 for 47 in the regular season.
It's the first offering to Willis. Going to be looked at for strike one.
A native of Bartlett, Tennessee, playing his college ball at the University of Memphis. Going to be a rising sophomore for the Tigers.
Looks like we're going to see a quick mound visit between Constable and Cassidy.
But I was thinking at the half-inning break, how cool would it be for Brandon Cassidy to experience glory a second time for a second consecutive summer? The path getting there different than 2023. More so for him personally, as the big train had to slug it out with the Crop Dusters in the semifinals last year. But Cassidy was so dominant in 2023, as we've said a handful of times before, especially tonight. Has not been able to A.J. Martin, that knocked him out of the game. But to potentially have a moment that would outweigh that by so much.
The count now 2-1 on Willis. No outs on the board with 2 runners in scoring position. The 2-1 swung on and missed for strike 2.
And you have to wonder what the reaction might be. You got to think there's going to be a dog pile. You wonder if Constable is going to run out to Cassidy. You wonder if it's going to be the other way around.
The 2-2 popped high and out of play. Looks like it landed in the big train bullpen.
Oftentimes you see the pitcher and the catcher meet at the midpoint between home plate and the pitcher's mound. I think of the 2013 World Series. I believe it was Koji Uhara for the Boston Red Sox. After striking out Matt Carpenter of the St. Louis Cardinals to clinch the 13 World Series.
The 2-2 is swung on and missed. Strike 3, out 1 on the Senators.
It was Koji Uhara jumping into the waiting arms of, I believe, that can't be Jason Varitek. Oh, it was David Ross, the great journeyman David Ross, whose arms he jumped into.
First offering to McHugh in there for strike 1.
As the Red Sox celebrated their second World Series win of the 21st century. How adorable would that be to see Brandon Cassidy jumping into the waiting arms of Cole Constable?
The 0-1 swung on and missed for strike 2.
And now a strike closer to it. Brandon Cassidy doesn't seem like the kind of guy who would explode in celebration. But I guess we're a strike and another out away from potentially seeing.
The 0-2. That one's fouled off into the Senators' dugout.
A little friendly fire. Shades of Hamilton, Senator on Senator.
The 0-2. That one fouled off into the netting. McHugh will stay alive on the 0-2 count. The 0-2. That one lined foul down the first base line.
I think an alternate broadcast of this game could have been on C-SPAN. A ton of filibustering from the Senators at the plate. I'd say this is definitely a more entertaining version of the channel.
I agree. The 0-2. Gonna be low for ball one.
You can not only feel the anticipation, you can see it. Most Big Train staff and interns excitedly awaiting a potential third out and a championship victory.
The 1-2. Foul it off into the backstop. The 1-2. Trek swing, did he go around? Did not. Count gonna go even at 2 on McHugh.
The crowd here definitely dissenting the call there from home plate umpire Andy Simons. His word has become so much more valuable over the last few moments. A strikeout call would set this place on fire.
The 2-2. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Out 2 on the Senators. They are down to their last out.
You can feel it. You can see it. You can smell it. You can taste it. You can hear it. These are the moments you live for. The moments that you'll remember for a lifetime.
Number 22, Mikey Guy at the plate. 2 outs on the board. 2 runners still in scoring position for the Senators. First offering going to be popped high and out of play for strike 1.
The potential for euphoria. It's always so strong. And especially with it feeling as sure as it does right now, it's pretty difficult not to feel excited.
The 0-1. In there for strike 2. The Senators down to their very last strike of the 2024 season.
Fasten your seatbelts. This is about to be a wild ride through Euphoria Land.
The 0-2, outside for ball 1.
That is a great pitch. I love that pitch from Brandon Cassidy. We've seen so many Big Train pitchers go to that slider, moving inside and out, low and away. Let's see if he's got another one in him.
The 1-2, foul it off into the backstop.
But of course, the Senators will not go away. Oh, this is so wonderful. Excitement permeating everybody here at Shirley Povich Field. I'm sure you would have loved to write about this season.
The 1-2. Swung on and missed. It's strike 3. Cassidy gets him down swinging. Your 2024 Big Train have done it all. Their 11th championship title. Big Train, the CRS-CBL title winners.
How good does it feel?
It feels electric. What a dominant offensive performance from the 2024 Big Train. They put up a 6 spot in the top of the first to carry them through until the end. Quentin, how are you feeling in this moment?
Everything, really. There's a lot happening in here. This booth is being filled up with a lot. You can't really see it. You can't really hold it in the palm of your hand. But myself, I'm sure you, our producers, and especially everyone on that field is feeling so much right now. It's hard to comprehend. That's why you just start running aimlessly towards your teammates. That's why you all congregate in a big celebratory circle. You don't really know what else to do but run. And the Big Train running away with their 11th Ripken League title, their 7th in the last 8 seasons. The dynasty continues. The giants of the league strengthen.
The Big Train. Let's take a look back at their 2024 season. Started off very strong. Went 3 for 3 to start off the season and then faced quite a bit of adversity. Now at that point in the season, I think we were all starting to have our doubts about this team. We hadn't really seen manager Sal Colangelo and his Big Train squad face adversity before. So having to be put in that tough spot to then bring it back to this moment, to sweep the Giants in the semifinals, to sweep the Senators for the championship title. They have put up a dominant performance. Oh,
and of course, it had to be a water bath for one of the greatest to ever do it within the summer collegiate wood bat universe, Sal Colangelo. 600 wins and then some.
Manager Sal Colangelo, one of the winningest summer collegiate baseball coaches. Look at them out there. They're so happy. They've done it all. They really came back. They are such a strong team, and that is evident in the performance they put up in the playoffs. Just a couple of highlights from the 2024 season. One that comes to mind is the game in Silver Spring. You had a grand slam from Andrews Williamson to tie the game up at 7. And then Whitaker's base running to score the 8th run, the ultimate winning run. We've had a couple of walk-off wins. Sac flies from Josh Skoronsky. Chris Diaz walking in the final run in the 10th inning on manager Sal Colangelo's birthday. Just a couple of those strong highlight moments from this 2024 season.
An absolute shocker. Who is surprised?
The LCS final MVP, Andrew Williamson. We've said it before, we'll say it again. He has been an absolute machine from the plate. We mentioned him paying his rent over at second base, has had numerous doubles, has gotten on base at least once in every game he played for the Big Train this summer. He's truly deserving of this title, not only for his offensive play, but for his defense as well. Out in center field has been an absolute vacuum.
You know what, Phoebe? When looking back at some of our highlights of the season, I tried to go through as many games as possible. And the one that actually popped up in my mind was actually one of the Big Train's lowest moments of the season. It was back on June 14th. It was a rain-shortened 11-1 defeat at the hands of the Metro SoCo Braves. And as the rain poured, the players cleared off the field. I'm going to be completely honest, the energy was at an all-time low. Very rarely have the Big Train ever fallen that low. And to see them at the summit, once again, dominant, once again, a testament to the mental fortitude of this team to be able to bounce back and not just win the whole thing, but win it as dominantly as they have. None of these games in the playoffs were even close. The only time that the Big Train and their opponents were ever really that close was last night. The first about 5.5 innings of the game when the Senators led 2-0 heading into the bottom of the 6th. But as we've seen the Big Train do so many times this season, they were able to flip a switch. They were able to turn it on. Something was altered in the universe to allow the Big Train to go from mortals to near immortals. They nearly blurred the line between man and God. And we sit here once again for the 7th time in the last 8 seasons and the 11th time since 2005. The Big Train are kings of the Ripken League once again. And so I might ask, was there ever a doubt? Yes, there absolutely was. There were many doubts throughout the season. But it's deja vu all over again.
I will say there were definitely some doubts towards the middle of the season when you saw the Big Train again face that adversity. They were down quite a bit, and I think that showed in the mentality. But as Max Martov has said when he joined us in the booth, they were hungry for this. We heard it from Media Day first talking to the players before they'd even take it to the field. They wanted this championship title. They all wanted to win. They know the legacy of the Big Train, and they wanted to contribute to that. So now I'll ask you, what do you think is going to be the legacy of this 2024 Big Train team?
Bouncing back.
I agree. I think
21 wins. It was the fewest I believe they had ever won since their first season as a part of the Ripken League in 2005. And it hadn't been far off from recent seasons. In fact, in 2023, they won 23 regular season games. But again, those are far cries from what we have seen the Big Train accomplish. I remember when I was here in 2021, Big Train losses felt like presidential cycles, Olympic cycles even. Not often at all. They would roll into the playoffs, and they would roll to a championship. This time around, 21-15 entering the playoffs for the first time since the new playoff format was introduced. The Big Train participated in the play-in. Tomorrow was not guaranteed very early in the playoffs, but they go out against Metro Soco, and I think that was the seed that was planted that told us they were going to be able to roll per usual. That one a 16-4 mercy rule with Andrew Williamson. Of course, it had to be Andrew Williamson ending the game early with a 3-run moonshot deep into the Rockville night.
I have to say, I definitely agree with you. I think the game we saw last night, where the Big Train put up big numbers in the bottom of the innings to come back and win it all, I think that emulates the entire 2024 season. They have a lot of mental fortitude. They faced a lot of adversity, and they came back. Now on the other half, the Southern Maryland Senators, congratulations to them for making it to the Cal Ripken League Finals. Only their second season of existence. What a dominant performance for them, not only throughout this playoff run, but through the regular season as well. They've had a lot of high moments, so congratulations to them. Now we just want to take a moment to thank you guys who have been listening to us all season long, and the parents that have come up to us throughout the season to share their thanks and their appreciation for the broadcast. We've met so many wonderful families. The Wimpelbergs are in attendance tonight. Got to meet Mad Max Smartsoft's parents tonight in the parking lot before the game, so thank you to both of you for taking the time out of your day to come greet me and say thanks.
Ho, look at that. It's the Big Train's #1 fan, Brian Haven, getting to enjoy yet another Ripken League title. Look at the smile. Look at the happiness. Oh, one of the things you love to see here around the Ripken League Park.
But we've met so many amazing families, whether it was Landon Franklin's grandfather over at Silver Spring, whether it was Mrs. Whitaker coming to the family night, and Jordan Crosland's grandmother, mother, and sisters. We've met so many amazing people, and we truly are thankful for you guys for tuning in night after night and for appreciating what we do here. But
well, do you mind if I say one quick thing before we go?
Ahead.
I also want to say thank you from myself, Phoebe. I appreciate you saying that, because myself and you have already entailed it as well. We are both incredibly thankful for the opportunity we've received this season. I'm going to be honest, this was not supposed to be the original broadcast crew. Neither of us held this position when we went through the first hiring cycle, but we had some last-minute personnel changes. And I guess you were stuck with us this season. But in all seriousness, we got to talk about college baseball for 3 hours a night on average over the course of 2 months. And we talked about this with former Big Train GM Michael Michaud when he was in the booth with us not too long ago. As someone whose life has largely revolved around sport, and yours has too, especially recently with covering Virginia Tech baseball for Rivals, doing as much as you do in relation to Virginia Tech athletics, this is just the coolest thing for us. And we were so incredibly blessed to be able to be the voice of this team throughout all the highs and all the lows. This is really what you live for as a broadcaster. This is all you could really ever dream of. In relation to the kind of team you can cover. We were talking to Sean Salehi earlier in the season, and he was here in 2019 and in 2021 as well. Both of those seasons, the Big Train destroyed everybody en route to another Ripken League championship. And he said it was great calling wins, but most nights he would think, oh, I guess it'll just be another mercy rule. There was a ton of excitement in the league this year, as we've talked about so many times on the broadcast. I mean, even the Silver Spring Tacoma Thunderbolts, who finished last in the league standings, they were in the playoff hunt until the final days of the regular season. And in my personal opinion, I love parity. I love when more teams feel like they have a reasonable shot at the championship. Even the Southern Maryland Senators entered the Ripken League playoffs at 16-20. They were 4 bleeping games under 500, and they knocked off the top-seeded Aces after destroying the Crop Dusters, who were also very good this season, and gave the Big Train a good bit of trouble in Game 1 of this series. And we saw tonight not going down without a fight, recording 8 hits and 3 runs as well. So again, a big congratulations to the Senators. But to wrap this up, talk about filibustering. I feel like I've been talking for forever. I said at the beginning of the season, one of the coolest parts about summer ball is that for 2 months, these guys, us here within the Big Train staff, we all become each other's best friends for June and July. And then we all go back into our respective universes afterwards. But for 2 beautiful, glorious, incredible months out of the year, California shares a field with New York. New Jersey faces Wisconsin. Missouri faces Texas. It's just an awesome melting pot of people and schools that we have had the pleasure of talking about all season long. And I'm going to stop talking now because I feel like I'm just going to be repeating myself and talking in circles. So thank you to everyone that has listened this season. We really appreciate the listenership and the viewership, and I think we have a few more thank yous to get down.
Yes, again, blessed to have this opportunity. Thank you to everyone that's watched us all season long and gotten us to 1,000 subscribers on the Big Train Baseball Network. Quick thank you to all the broadcast teams throughout the Cal Ripken League. Getting to meet all of you. They've all been so wonderfully kind and welcoming it when we go to their home stadiums. One of my good friends, Cody Wagner, here tonight representing the Southern Maryland Senators. I'm excited to go back to school with him in the fall, to work with him at Virginia Tech. Thank you to all the parents that have shared their love and appreciation. Thank you to the players for giving us an exciting season of baseball to cover, for bringing home the championship. That was an exciting call to make. But for the very last time of the 2024 season, thank you to our producers, Jordan Parham, Lindsay
round of applause. Like, seriously, these broadcasts would not be possible without the hard work of our producers that you were about to name. I'm not going to steal your thunder.
Thank you to Jordan Parham, Lindsay Morin, our executive producer and general manager, Harrison Myers. Thank you to my partner, Quentin Corpuel. And until next season, 2025, Big Train Baseball Network. My name is Phoebe Winters, and you have been listening to the Big Train Baseball Network.
Bye.